All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres-Dodgers Game 4 tonight at Petco Park, 6:08. First pitch. Padres looking to beat the Dodgers and advance to the NLCS for the second time in the last 3 years. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Dodgers are going bullpen day. Ryan Brazier will start today for the Dodgers. Score updates around baseball in the postseason. This one just went final moments ago. Tigers, they shut out the Guardians 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead there. And Mets and Phillies Game 4 underway in New York, scoreless in the top of the third inning. And later today, actually, Yankees and Royals in Kansas City, Game 3 between those two teams. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
It's showtime, folks!
We start the party at Naughty Barrel.
844 Market Street. Looking for the most fired up fanatics in the shadow of Petco. Now, we head to Naughty Barrel with the people and Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Jon and Jim with you for the next 3 hours. Is tonight the night or not for San Diego trying to move on to the National League Championship Series after an epic win yesterday in Game 3, 6-5 over the Dodgers? So Jon and Jim with you from Naughty Barrel. We have an amazing show lined up. First of all, you need to join us. We'll be here for the next 3 hours. First pitch is exactly 3 hours out from Petco Park. The Padres trying to do what they did in 2022, which is beat the Dodgers in 4 and advance to the National League Championship Series, and we have wall-to-wall coverage for you. Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, will join us at 3:30. Marty Caswell, friend of the show, also co-worker.
Yeah, co-worker of the station.
She's basically forced to do it. She'll join us coming up at 4:30. Right. I don't know if she would do it otherwise. Darron Trip, friend of the show.
Yes, we forced him to be our friend. But
correct, and he will join us coming up at 5:30. Last night, the Padres found a way with a 6-run inning and then a lot of really good relief pitching to win a game 6-5. There's been a lot of conversation over the last 24 hours about Fernando Tatis Jr., about Ken Rosenthal, and also about Manny Machado. And Manny Machado made a really heads-up play on the base pass, part of that 6-run inning. But no matter what, they won the game. They found a way. They won it 6-5. They're now a win away from getting back to a National League Championship Series, whether it's tonight or Friday. They're trying to prevent having to go back to Dodger Stadium with a Game 5 by winning tonight.
It wasn't the cleanest game. It wasn't the prettiest game. They scored 6 runs there in the second inning, most in franchise history in a single inning in a postseason game for the Padres. And then they went scoreless the rest of the way out. They gave up a grand slam, but they got the job done. Michael King, I thought he pitched pretty well. I think, the grand slam, not good that inning. 3 straight hits, then you give up the grand slam. But then he retired 8 in a row to finish off that outing, and it could have gone either way. And after giving up a grand slam, you got to lock back in, and he absolutely did. I thought his outing was very underrated. And then the second inning happens, and the Tatis 2-run home run, David Peralta doubled down the line. But the Manny play is the play that made that whole inning happen, in my opinion, and I think yours as well.
100%.
You have him on first base and ground ball to Freddie Freeman. He runs in the path of Freddie's vision. Ball goes into left field.
Off Machado.
Now runners at first and second, and the whole inning mushroom clouds. I saw a lot of people, including myself, I'm like, wait, shouldn't he be out because he got out of the base path? Well, actually, when you look at the rule, Manny did it how he was taught. And he even said so post-game, how, hey, we've been practicing that play all the way back in spring training, that if the ball is hit to a first baseman on the grass and you're on first base,
cut off the angle.
You cut off the angle and kind of banana it, as you'll hear from Freddie Freeman in a moment, which he calls it. Because the rule is you can, get out of the base path as long as the base that you're going to doesn't have the ball chasing you down.
Well, basically, you establish your own base path as the runner. So he established his own lane. Now, did he leave his own lane? That's arguable. But it was a
judgment
very
call.
smart, headsy, educated, high IQ Manny Machado play. And I said last night on the wrap-up show that Manny Machado should be known more for his high IQ than he should for being polarizing in nature and everything that's been written about him over the years. I would say it this bluntly. If not for Manny Machado's heads-up base running decision, the Padres lose the game, and I really think that happens.
Yeah.
If not for that moment, we don't even know if they score in the inning. Obstruction would have resulted in an out. No runs had scored prior to that play. They end up scoring 6 runs in the inning. They win by the slimmest of margins, 1 run. And I really, truly, honestly believe, if not for Manny Machado's decision, the Padres don't win that game. It had less to do about Tatis' home run, which was awesome. It had less to do with Jeremiah Estrada and Jason Adam and Tanner Scott and Robert Suarez, and some of those guys were terrific last night, if not all of them. And it had everything to do. Sometimes one play is the difference. And looking back on that game, to me, Manny Machado's heads-up base running decision, the umpire's subjectivity in it, the Dodgers never argued it, it leads to a 6-run inning, and now the Padres are 27 outs away from getting to a National League Championship Series.
It's a play that doesn't show up in the box score.
That's right.
It's not at all flashy, but I bet you if you go in that clubhouse and you ask Mike Schilt, well, do you think the play of the game was?
Yeah.
That was one of the plays of the game. I also find it interesting that, Manny does this, and if it was anybody else, it would have been applauded for how, amazing of an IQ play that was from X player. Manny does it. It's like, well, should he have been out? Was that controversial? Or is this Bush League? No, give me a break. This is 100% a play that every baseball player would do, and it is such a high IQ play that a lot of players wouldn't even know to do that.
Funny that all the national media concentrated on his tossing of a ball towards the Dodgers dugout in Game 2, yet I didn't see Ken Rosenthal last night on social media or Jeff Passan or Alden Gonzalez or others talk about Manny's decision
heads-up play
to basically create his own running lane, cut off that throw from Freddie Freeman, and ignite a 6-run inning that plays the role in the Padres winning 6-5 over the Dodgers. To the Dodgers' credit, they get a grand slam from Teoscar Hernandez. I thought at that point we had a lot of baseball still in front of us in terms of runs being scored in the game, and there wasn't another run scored in the game after the 3rd inning, and the Padres held on to win 6-5. And some of the commentary post-game was, well, the Padres can't score against relievers, and this player was hitless in the game. They won the game. Yeah. And as you get deeper into the postseason, nobody's going to say in the championship series or this series in a clinch or in the World Series, well, yeah, they won the game, but this player was 0 for 4. They found a way to win the game, which is the best thing you can say about this team, Jim. How many big innings have they had? How many improbable wins have they had? Or you just say they found a way, and they did it again last night.
How many 4- and 5-run innings have they had this year?
I don't know.
20 to 30, maybe more?
I think it's more than
35.
30. I think it's more, yes.
It's been so many. This team couldn't even have dreamed of having a 4- or 5-run inning
last year.
Last
Right?
year. This year, they have it on a regular basis. It was no different last night.
Yep.
Just kind of snowballed. And they're a team that once it gets going, you can't stop it. It's a snowball effect. When they put the pressure on, they just continue to put the pressure on. They put runs across the board, and they have big time innings like they did last night in Game 2. But yeah, it all started with Manny. His heads up play, the IQ of that play is off the charts. If you ask anybody in baseball, they'd be like, dude, that play was, in the moment to think of that and actually do it and then execute it and have it be successful. I would bet a lot of baseball players and managers and coaches that were watching last night's game were like, damn, that's a good play.
Yeah, and if you want to get mad at anyone and you're a Dodger fan, then get mad at the umpires who have a decision to make whether that's obstruction or not, or get mad at Dave Roberts who has a decision to make whether he wants to argue it or not. Freddie Freeman, Miguel Rojas, Dave Roberts, nobody said anything in the moment. I don't know if anything would have changed. The umpires can confer.
Yeah.
Dave Roberts could have asked the 6 umpires to confer.
Yeah.
He didn't. The inning went on. Padres scored 6 runs. What was interesting is after this game, you and I are thinking the same thing. We're watching this. We get ready to do the wrap-up show. And I'm like, why are Joe Davis and John Smoltz interviewing Fernando Tatis Jr., who hit another home run. His remarkable postseason career continues, including here in 2024. And we got confirmation today from Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, who joined us yesterday, that Ken Rosenthal, based on the article he wrote yesterday in The Athletic, was in fact banned from the Padres dugout yesterday and conducting on-field TV interviews. That was a one-game ban. So we'll see what happens here tonight. But Padres, honestly, as they should have done, the article was so absurdly ridiculous, to the point that Fernando Tatis Jr. went on social media last night and was posting emojis of him dancing, and
they've already made shirts.
They've already made shirts about it.
Breaking tea.
What was the other? What's the animal?
Peacock.
The peacock and the dancing emoji.
Dancing peacock, John.
Dancing peacock. Anyway, Ken Rosenthal truly last night could not talk to the Padres on television. That's how furious they were with his article.
And he deserved it. Like, he wrote that article, and I hope he knew what the consequences probably were going to be if he wrote that article. If he's upset that, or if Fox producers are upset, I mean, they have to be upset with Ken Rosenthal, not the Padres. And Ken has to be upset with himself, and he has to be still embarrassed, because writing that article, I'm not going to say it's okay to write, because it wasn't. I mean, the tones and the players that he went after and the names that he called certain players, I thought it was over the line. And then to try to create a narrative on Manny once again for trying to be a quote-unquote dirty player, give me a break. But how would he not understand and think, oh, maybe, hold on, I'm covering the series for Fox. I'm going to be in the dugouts. I'm going to be interviewing these players pregame, postgame, and during the game. Don't you think the article that he wrote, like, would get him in trouble from the Padres? Because that's what it did. It got him banned last night from the dugout and from interviewing the players. It's just still mind-blowing to me that he couldn't realize that this article, that when he hit published, that it was going to be viewed, as rightfully so, as a complete hit piece, trash article. And he's covering the games. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking? I mean, what he really could have done, it would have been so easy to do this. He could have said in that moment about Manny being Manny, he could have just followed up on what he had reported in Game 2, which was, look at this moment in the clubhouse where Manny Machado is showing leadership. Yeah. He could have gone down that path in print. He went there as a broadcaster on television, but for whatever reason, he got fed this narrative, probably from the Dodgers and their brass, that Manny Machado's decision to throw a baseball towards the dugout was so out of bounds that now you have to now change your tune again. He is like completely changing with the wind.
Yeah.
2 nights ago, oh my gosh, Manny Machado is showing leadership. To the article, oh, you know what? This is Manny being Manny again. What's he going to say today?
Then he pumps up Tatis today, like, stop, dude, stop.
Yeah, no.
It's over. It's over with.
Yeah.
It's done with. I don't know if he's learned his lesson, but that's something that will be remembered inside that clubhouse for a long time. You can't write that thing and not expect any type of repercussion. And that's what happened last night. And it will be interesting to see if he's now on the Padres side of the field today in their dugout, or if he remains on the Dodgers side. I just thought it was interesting watching that game. The more the game went on, I'm like, dude, Ken has not even stepped close to the Padres dugout. He hasn't interviewed Schilt. Maybe I missed it. I don't think I did. He hasn't interviewed any players. And then post-game, Tatis is getting interviewed by Schmaltz and Joe Davis, and that's when it hit, like, okay, something's up here. They saw that. They said, yeah, you're good. You're not coming over near us after you wrote that. You think you can come near us? No, you're not doing that.
Another example of mess around, find out.
Yeah.
We saw it in Game 2 with the Dodgers and their fans and their reactions from Jack Flaherty. The next day, Ken Rosenthal writes this ridiculous hit piece, and then shouldn't be surprised that he wasn't allowed to interview Padres players on field. Apparently, that boycott will come to an end here tonight for Game 4. We're getting you ready for Game 4. We're at the Naughty Barrel 9th and Market. Come join us. We're here until 6 p.m. They have terrific food and drinks. All the TVs, all the baseball is on. So get here whether you have tickets or not. We're downtown 2 blocks from Petco Park. How good of a base running play was it? We'll hear from Freddie Freeman on the other side. Of course, the Dodgers first baseman. And coming up at 3:30, Mike Faren from MLB Network Radio, friend of the show, will be back with us. An amazing voice on Major League Baseball. Mike Faren will join us coming up at 3:30. It's Jon and Jim. Don't go anywhere. All right, hey guys, it's Jon and Jim. We've been telling you about our friends over at Jamul Casino. It's an amazing time to get there. You've got the MLB postseason action. You've got, of course, the NFL going on, and every single Monday night, you've got a chance to win big over at Jamul Casino.
Yeah, you can earn entries all month long by playing and getting two-time entries on Tuesdays as well, with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash. This is a promotion that you guys will not want to miss.
Got to get over to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. You're going to love it. They have great food and drinks. In addition to that, they have so many TVs to watch all the action, MLB postseason, NFL, like we were telling you about. In addition to that, Jamul does have endless dining 5 nights a week. You're going to think it's incredible. Their endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet, perfect combinations of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, we love Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. It is an amazing place to watch a baseball game. It's an amazing place to watch postseason action. Get to Jamul Casino today. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
If you missed our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, you can watch it now on Hulu exclusively. See the biggest festival headliners from around the world on one stage for one show. Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, the Black Crowes, and many more. This is the only time you'll see a lineup of superstar performers like this one on one stage. See it all at our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, streaming only on Hulu. Jon and Jim from the Naughty Barrel, thanks to those that have swung by over the last 2 days. We've met so many people. We just met a couple of guys, one of which is from Tel Aviv, David. He's originally from San Diego. He lives in Tel Aviv in Israel. He watches the wrap-up show and Jon and Jim from the Middle East. So we've got people that
we've reached everywhere around
the
world.
We've basically reached everywhere at this point. But if you're going to be
global
downtown, if you're coming downtown, say hi. We're at the Naughty Barrel, 9th and Market until 6 p.m. It's starting to fill up right now. MLB action is on. If the Mets win today, they're in the National League Championship Series. The Phillies are trying to stave off elimination. And, of course, if the Padres win today, they're also in the NLCS.
And the NLCS, regardless, starts Sunday. But that's in the future. That's looking ahead. tonight's all that matters. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be easy. They're going to be in the National League Championship Series just because they have a 2-1 lead. Like, no, I know it's a bullpen day for the Dodgers, but you also have to think about what the Padres have done against the Dodgers bullpen in this series. Take away the 8th and 9th inning for Game 2. Game 2, 8th and 9th inning, they weren't facing Treinen. They weren't facing Vesia. They weren't facing Kopech.
Yep,
yeah,
true.
They scored 6 runs. They hit 4 homers there. But you're going to see Treinen tonight. You're going to see Vesia. You're going to see Kopech. You know, those guys right there will give you at least 3 innings, maybe more. At least.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And Ryan Brazier, who's starting tonight for the Dodgers, like, oh, this is a huge advantage. And we'll talk about Dylan Cease on 3 days rest here as well. You say, well, Cease, Brazier, this is a huge advantage. You got to remember that the Dodgers' strategy here, and this isn't even Dave Roberts, this is organizational. Brazier's going to go an inning, maybe 2 or 4 outs.
Depends how he pitches.
And he's had a fine year. He had a sub-1 ERA in 28 innings, a sub-1 WHIP in 28 innings, a 3.5 ERA. This isn't truly Cease versus Brazier.
No.
It's bullpen day for the Dodgers. How do they navigate it against Dylan Cease, who's going to be pitching on 3 days rest, and he did not throw well at Dodger Stadium. Now, he's been better at home, but in 3 1/3 innings, he allowed 5 runs. He threw 82 pitches, and he's going to be going on short rest for the first time in his career tonight.
Yeah, he's a lot better at home. This year, his numbers have shown that. 3 days rest, though, that is a little scary. We tried to find the stat of pitchers in the postseason on 3 days rest and what they have done. This is what I found. Now, this was tweeted out in 2022. The last 2 years,
who cares?
I bet you that the numbers aren't going to sway it one way or the other. You might have a little bit of different numbers, but I truly think that these numbers are around the same. This was in 2022. I get it.
Okay.
Those pitching in the postseason on 3 days rest between starts in the wild card era since 1995 are 30-47 with a 4.59 ERA.
So relatively ineffective.
And look, over the last couple of years, I don't have it off the top of my head, and I couldn't find it.
I doubt it's been incredible.
I doubt it's going to be like the last 15 pitchers are 15-0.
Right, with a 0
ERA to make it
it's
amazing.
Probably only happened a couple of times. It's becoming less and less than you would have seen in the 1990s or 2000s.
Right.
So you're telling me the 3-day rest has not been a positive, even when you're turning to some of the best pitchers in the game, like Dylan Cease. Now, that's not terrible. Like 4.5, for example, tonight is 6 innings, 3 runs. Or, something like 5 innings, 2 runs, or 4 innings, 2 runs. And I think that's what you're looking for out of Dylan Cease, truthfully. Can you give me 4 or 5 innings? Can you allow just a couple of runs or fewer?
Yeah.
And can you keep the Padres in it? We know what their bullpen is capable of. We saw what happened yesterday. And the bullpen's rested enough that they can turn back to them in Game 4. And I'm confident in Cease, but then again, with the full rest, he didn't pitch well against the Dodgers his last time out.
Yeah.
Again, you don't need the world from him. He doesn't need to go 7 scoreless innings, but can you give me 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs, and give the Padres offense a chance to win the game?
Yeah. Can you go out there and get to at least the 5th inning? Like Estrada, Adam, Scott, Suarez. We haven't even talked about Suarez yet. We have a whole show to do that. They're all going to be ready to go. And getting through 5 yesterday for Michael King was so important because it set up the matchup of the back end and then the bridge to the back end with Estrada, who had his best outing so far of the postseason. And by the way, if Robert Suarez is going to look like that, that was by far his best performance in, I would say, 2 months. A lot of swings and misses, went 4 outs, 4 up, 4 down. He was throwing his changeup. Location-wise was perfect. He was getting swings and misses. He was blowing guys away with his fastball. That's the Robert Suarez that everybody knows and loves. And if you have that guy at the back end of your bullpen now, granted, he only – there we go. That's good. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What's your name? What's your name? Fiona. Happy birthday. Go Padres.
Go Padres.
There we go.
You going to the game?
Yeah, you got to shout out on the radio.
No? You'll be watching.
There we go.
We will too.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Have fun,
birthday.
guys. Go Padres.
Robert Suarez, to me, if he's looking like that, changes the whole dynamic of everything.
Yeah, although I don't even know if when you have Scott and Adam and Estrada and Suarez, the good thing is they have options.
They do have options.
They don't have to be perfect, although yesterday they did. What are the odds of holding a one-run lead for 6+ innings against the Dodgers? Not high.
Well,
but when you have a bullpen as good as the Padres, we'll see what happens from here on out. I don't know if it'll happen again here today or if the series is going to go 5 games, but you like your chances with a lead with this bullpen.
You do.
No matter the lineup you're facing, including the Dodgers lineup with Shohei Ohtani, as capable as they are. And Robert Suarez, you're right, 4 up and 4 down, throwing 102 last night.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
And it wasn't just 102, because he's thrown 101 over the last month and a half. Problem is, it was getting hit. Last night, swings and misses.
Well, I mixed in a changeup last night.
That was so key to the whole outing for him, because not only did he mix it up and it was effective. It wasn't just a waste pitch. It was a pitch that got a strikeout and it got a swing and miss.
You're right. All right, Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, will join us coming up next. Does he like the decision to go with Dylan Cease on short rest or not? Mike Faren, friend of the show. We're at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. I'll buy you a second one.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Patrell Real Estate Team. Padres and Dodgers, Game 4 tonight at Petco Park. Padres have a 2-1 series lead, looking to close out the Dodgers and advance to the NLCS for the second time in the last 3 years. Ryan Brashear against Dylan Cease tonight is the matchup. Dodgers are going full bullpen day tonight's game. Looking at the scoreboard around baseball, Phillies and Mets. Game 4 in New York. Philly has a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 4th inning there. And today the Tigers, they shut out the Guardians 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead there. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, we're about 2.5 hours out. Game 4, a potential clincher for the Padres. They need that third win to move on to a National League Championship Series for the second time in 3 years. And let's catch up more on this series with Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, who's a friend of the show. He's been on a ton. Now, he's been battling some laryngitis over the last week. I've been trying to get him on the last couple of days, and he's been a bit under the weather. First of all, Mike, thank you for joining us. How's the voice holding up? This is an important time of year for you. How's the voice holding up?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's believe it or not, this is improving from where it was a week ago. So I was joking with somebody the other day that I sounded like Slappy Squirrel. So like, or like Selma from the Night Court. So like, it's not great, but we'll get through it, and excited to talk to you guys about the Padres and what could be a big night.
It could be. So let's start there. I want to start with tonight, and then we go back to all the drama that's played out really over the last 3 games. But do you like this decision by the Padres? They have Yu Darvish fully rested for a 5th game. I was going to ask, do you like Cease on short rest? Why or why not?
No, I don't. I mean, we don't see it very often anymore, right? I mean, this is something that 20 years ago we saw much more frequently. And even then, the success of pitchers on 3 days rest was pretty minimal at that point. I mean, you have to really go back to the 90s, the early 90s, probably the last time you saw it frequently successful for pitchers. At that point, they just didn't do it a lot during the regular season, and then they didn't do it much during the postseason. So Dylan Cease has never done it before. I realize that, they feel like he gives them a much better option than Martin Perez. I just would rather, I think, almost attack it the way that the Dodgers are attacking today and trusting that great bullpen that the Padres have, rather than trying to get Cease to do something that he's never done before, a guy who has a history of command issues. And it's not like Cease didn't have, he had like a 50-pitch outing or a 30-pitch outing in game 1. It was 82 pitches, and a lot of those were stressful. So I just don't love the decision. Now, I've said that he'll probably throw 6 shutout innings, right? But just from the first blush on it, when I saw it, went to bed as soon as the game was over last night. I woke up this morning, and the first thing I saw was he was starting on short rest, and my reaction was, ew.
All right, so Dylan Cease again is going to go on short rest. We have Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, with us. What did you think last night of Manny Machado's base running, which, of course, at the end of the day is very headsy? They end up scoring 6 runs as a result. But what did you make of the decision by the Dodgers not to even come out and argue it? I know it's subjective. It's based on
there's nothing to argue. No, there's nothing to argue on the play. I mean, that's the thing, is that the base runner creates their own base path. When you hear about running out of the baseline, what the baseline is created by a runner, and that running out of the lane is when a fielder is trying to make a tag on a player, right? And then you only have 3 feet in either direction. It was incredibly smart. It's something that base runners are taught consistently, and you see it most going first to second and going from third to home. Listen, we just saw a half inning or an inning and a half before Mookie Betts basically run to the mound and then have to run back to second base, right? The runner creates her own base path. And Freddie Freeman after the game saying, hey, listen, I would have done the exact same thing. I think it's as much an endorsement of it as possible. We saw this in a playoff game a couple of years ago between the White Sox and the Astros. I don't know if you remember this. This was in 2021. Yasmani Grandal running way inside the grass at third base to create a bad angle for Alex Bregman to throw home. And the throw hit Grandal in the back. It's absolutely within the rules. There's nothing that's challengeable in it. There's nothing that you can come out and argue. And I think the reason that Dave Roberts didn't come out and argue it is because he knew what the rule was and that it would have done it the same way. That's all the other stuff. All of this other stuff and the complaints about it is absolutely noise. It's what base runners are taught to do in that situation. And it doesn't matter that he bananaed his way between that. I saw Doug Glanville talking about this today. Glanville said in that situation, when you get your back to a fielder, he was taught to run directly at the fielder who was trying to receive the throw. And if you look at Machado, that's what happens. He saw that Freeman was on his knees. He starts going directly at where Rojas was positioned. Great base running play, great decision. And that's not what cost the Dodgers the game. Rojas' decision to try and turn the double play himself to the next hitter, that was as boneheaded a play as a good defender has made in the postseason. That was the big issue because that's what compounded the problem and led to the 6-run inning.
All the talk has been of Shohei Ohtani. He had an amazing year, rightfully so. But, I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. is having the best postseason of anybody right now in the postseason. It's just like when the lights go on in the postseason, this guy just shows up in a big way. Do you think that the strategy for the Dodgers should be the strategy that a lot of people are talking about with Shohei Ohtani? Is like, why are you still pitching to this guy?
Yeah, I think that's got to be part of the equation tonight. You know, so the problem with both Ohtani and Tatis is that they hit leadoff. So you really feel like at the beginning of the game, you have to pitch to them, right? You have to pitch to them in that plate appearance because the last thing you want to do is start creating traffic ahead of the heart of good lineups. And so that at bat, you know they're going to get it. And they're going to get it. Unless there's traffic in a position that doesn't allow you to pitch around them, I think you're going to start to see that with both Tatis and with Ohtani, I think probably going forward. Especially, you know, the Dodgers are obviously they have an issue in Freddie Freeman being impacted by the ankle. I don't know how much power he's going to be able to hit for. I'm kind of surprised that he's in the lineup again today, just based on the way he looked yesterday. I mean, it was painful watching him get off the field. I think you have to like tip your hat to that dude, right? Like what a tough son of a gun to be able to go out there and play the way he has. But I think you're absolutely right. Like watch what A.J. Hinch did today in pitching around Jose Ramirez whenever that opportunity came up. Now, the difference is that the names in both the Padres and Dodgers lineups are better, and they're better offensive players than there are in Cleveland's lineup. You want to make Josh Naylor beat you. He's a good player. Like you guys saw Josh when he was a young player, but like Naylor's an all-star and had a 100 RBI season and was really, really good this year. But like you want to make somebody other than the guy who's the hottest beat you. And I think at this point, both the Dodgers and the Padres had to be very, very cognizant of those guys in the leadoff spot.
Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, with us on Jon and Jim. Mike, I haven't gotten your opinion on what happened in Game 2, and I know it's a little bit of old news, but it seemed to be overblown from our seat, what transpired specifically with Manny Machado, quote-unquote, I don't know, throwing or tossing a ball towards the Dodger dugout. What's your reaction to that?
You know, like I saw the video, and I saw him, you know, he threw the ball fairly hard at the dugout. I don't know. I'm going to let those guys deal with it. I know, you know, I worked with Chris Jimenez yesterday, who was kind of like, this is a ridiculous thing until he saw Machado's throw. And he was like, man, that actually got me a little bit ticked off. Like that was not right. That was not something that was done. And so I'll let players and whoever else want to argue about it. It just doesn't matter. I think it was, you know, like it was a controversy born of the fact that we didn't see the video for a day. And then we had to go, you know, the longest 48-hour stretch, right, from the last game on, what was it, Sunday to the last game on Tuesday or whatever day it was. I don't remember what day of the week it is, to be able to end it. So I don't really care. I mean, I think, you know, Machado's a great player. The dude posts. You know, he has certainly rubbed opponents the wrong way. He's not the only Padre player to do that. The Dodgers have a couple of players who have rubbed players the wrong way in the past. Kike Hernandez and Joe Kelly. I know Kelly's not on the postseason roster, but those are guys that have not always been friends of other teams, right? So, you know, whatever. It happens. I like the fact that there was some drama and that there was some excitement about it and that there's a little extra intensity in it. And I think that certainly played into kind of the meltdown from Dodgers fans last night over the Machado base running.
You talk to players and executives and managers all the time, Mike. How much does a crowd and what's happening here at Petco Park affect an opposing team?
Well, I mean, I think players will always tell you that the home crowd is super important for them, right? Like that they get energy for it. They want to do well for them. They, you know, it can lift them up. So I don't want to discount it, but I just watched the Arizona Diamondbacks go into Philadelphia last year in that incredible crowd, which is, the best atmosphere that I've seen in the postseason, in 15 years of doing this. And that's, like Petco's up there. I was there for the first 2 games in 22. And I'm not trying to besmirch Padres fans with that. Padres fans are awesome, and they packed that place. And the intimacy at Petco Park makes it really difficult, I think, on opposing teams because you're right on the action. But there's a different edge in Philadelphia than there is in San Diego, right? And watching Brandon Pfaadt walk out to the bullpen to warm up for Game 7 of the NLCS alone last year, being berated. I'm sure he heard things about his mother that he'd never heard before, that entire walk, and then go out and shove against the Phillies makes me think that it's one of those things that's nice to have on your side, but in the end, it doesn't really matter that much.
How do you think this series finishes up?
I don't know. I mean, I know Padres fans should be feeling really good about where things sit right now. There's something that always makes me a little nervous about a bullpen game for an offense, and that's because you're never going to see the same pitcher twice, right? We just saw it this afternoon with Cleveland. And again, Cleveland's offense, not nearly what the Padres offense is. But the Dodgers are not going to use their guy who is kind of their bulk guy in Landon Knack. From what Dave Roberts said, it's going to be their A relievers. So you're probably looking at 2 innings of Blake Trinan. You might be looking at 2 innings of Michael Kopech. You might be probably in an inning of Daniel Hudson and probably Alex Vesia in some big spots. And you start to count the outs that those guys get, and they're pretty good. It's going to be difficult to score runs. So I don't know that I think that it's a fait accompli that the Padres finish it off tonight. I think Game 5 in LA would be really, really interesting to see whether or not Yamamoto is able to make adjustments because the Padres were all over him. But this to me is it's they're really playing a big card by using Cease tonight. They're basically saying, we're going to do it tonight, and then we're going to get our rest, and we'll see whether or not they can step on their necks. Because if it goes back to L.A., who knows what happens. But I still, even with all of the issues the Dodgers have in their pitching and all of this, I don't have a good feel personally for where this is going to go.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point that if the Dodgers get some type of lead, then you really can try to max out your leverage relievers and see where you are in the middle of this game. Mike, always appreciate.
I think even if you're down 1-0,
same thing.
Fourth, it's the same thing. It's a close game plays a lot more like a tie game in the regular season, right? Or where you're up 1 with the way you use those relievers. And it's not that the Padres bullpen is going to play a big role in this tonight. And I think their Padres bullpen is better. But it's just a matter of what's getting I think what happens early in the game is going to decide. They better be all over Ryan Brazier because I think the Padres, whoever jumps out to a lead, is going to want that because it is going to be tough to come back against these bullpens.
Yeah, exactly. We were thinking the same thing. Mike, great to hear your voice. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Let's do it again, hopefully at some point later this October. And thanks for the perspective on Padres Dodgers.
Yeah, I've got NLCS, so I may see you guys in a couple of days.
I would love that.
We would love
that. Thanks, Mike. Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio with us here on Jon and Jim. We'll react. Plus, we will hear from Freddie Freeman, his thoughts on Manny Machado's base running decision as part of that critical 6-run inning yesterday, a Padres 6-5 win over the Dodgers. We're leading you up to Game 4 tonight, 6:08, between San Diego and Los Angeles here at Petco Park. We're at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, Marty Caswell is going to join us coming up at 4:30 from inside Petco Park as the Padres and Dodgers are 2 hours out from this Game 4 battle. Dylan Cease, Ryan Brazier is your Game 4 matchup tonight at 6:08. So Marty Caswell will join us at 4:30. Darron Trip, friend of the show, NBC7, will hop on at 5:30. It's a bit of deja vu all over again, not because the Padres have a chance to clinch against the Dodgers at home in Game 4, but because Jim is trying to buy tickets again. Now, last night...
so how did that go? How much of the game did you miss?
He spent an hour of the show basically e-breaking the show, as you remember, Brent, and saying nothing on the show.
I don't even know
and
what
then
I
he
said.
Didn't even go in because he never got his tickets.
Okay. See, I didn't know.
Here's what happened. Long story short, I got the tickets during the show. I also
bought the tickets.
I bought the tickets,
got them,
but I never got the tickets. They never got transferred to me. It was pending for an hour, and I know Ticketmaster and ticket transfers were down yesterday, and they were dealing with some technical issues. But yeah, they never transferred the ticket over. I called StubHub. I was on the phone with them for like a half hour. I was watching the game at Naughty Barrel, but I couldn't focus on the game.
Right.
And I only tweeted one time. John's like, I knew something was going on.
I knew you were because you were only lost.
Yeah. And luckily I got a refund, but I'm still pretty mad because I was looking forward to it. Aaron came all the way down.
I was just saying, how long did it take her to get back?
She got back like 5 minutes before first pitch. So it was
6 o'clock.
So it would have worked out great. We got over there and we were ready to go. I mean, we would have maybe missed first pitch, but that's
but you would have been in 5 minutes after.
Yeah, we would have been five. We would have been in there, and then they just never got transferred over. And let's just say I was very mad. I was very pissed.
Well, are we going to play this game again tonight, where we're looking at tickets? The prices may drop as we get closer to first pitch. I think the price for a seat tonight is in the neighborhood of $300. The price for Gallagher Square is in the neighborhood of $200 to $200, maybe $25.
I'm looking right now. The cheapest seat is a $299.
All right, so $300 to get in per seat. But if you're going with Aaron, you're talking about $600 tonight for Game 4. Could be a clincher tonight for the San Diego Padres. All right, let's hear from Freddie Freeman, because there's been a lot of discussion, mostly from Dodger fans. Manny Machado broke the rules.
Bush
he was
League,
out of the
dirty
base
player.
path. How could he do that? Well, what's interesting is Freddie Freeman. Well, let's hear what Freddie Freeman had to say and then react to it. This was last night.
Your throw, did you think Machado should have been called for interference?
I've looked at it many, many times, replayed it in my head many times. Hurtado's base runners, I would have done the same thing as a base runner to banana it, but usually you're supposed to do it after one or two steps in the dirt and go, but I would have done the same thing as a base runner. And, I'm really far in the grass, and he got really far in the grass. I can certainly say I wouldn't do anything different at first. I thought I made a perfect throw and just clipped his left shoulder and bananaed enough into the line. That's what Hurtado's base runners to get into the line, and he did it there.
I would have done the same thing. His exact quote: "I would have done the same thing."
So no controversy, no anything other than, damn, that was a really good play. That's what I would
have done the same thing.
I view it as, if you are a fan of the Dodgers, I'm looking at that play and I'm pissed. But I'm not pissed because Manny did it. I'm pissed because it happened and Manny's smart enough to do it. When you see an opposing team do something that your team didn't do or didn't have a chance to do or couldn't do,
sure.
And I'm not saying Manny got away with it. Kind of did get away with it a little bit, but he also, executed it perfectly to where nothing happened. It turned into the 6-run inning. So, yeah, I mean, Dodger fans can be upset all they want at that play and cry that that he didn't get called out.
Broke the rules.
Yeah.
Left the base path.
Well, Freddie Freeman is saying that he would have done the exact same thing.
And to Mike Faren's point, and this is a great point, that the Dodgers can be mad at themselves for Miguel Rojas' boneheaded play with runners at first and second. He thought he was going to turn 2 on a ground ball. He got no outs. He went to second late, and then he threw to first late as well. So there were a lot of factors in that 6-run inning. You don't just score 6 runs on one play, obviously. So there were a lot of factors in the 6-run inning. But make no mistake, I said it earlier, I think without Manny Machado's headsy base running decision, I don't know if the Padres win the game. In fact, you could easily argue that they would lose the game yesterday if not for Manny Machado, if not for Miguel Rojas. They needed their bullpen. They needed their as well. But it's always nice to hear when the opposing team kind of agrees with the play of your team.
Yeah, credit
in the postseason.
Credit where credit's due. That was a heads-up IQ play, and I would have done the exact same thing.
Now, tonight, what's interesting and where Mike Faren kind of scared me was he's like, listen, Dylan Cease on short rest. He's like, it's no foregone conclusion of being successful. You talked about it earlier with the 4.6 ERA for guys on short rest going back to the wild card era of 1995. I mean, Mike Faren was basically vehemently against the idea of doing it.
Yeah.
He said, I kind of like bullpen day because you never see a reliever more than one time in that outing. Chris,
what's up?
My
what's
man?
up? What's
How you
up?
guys
What's
doing?
up? Let's go. Let's go. Lock in.
So, I mean, bullpen day against Dylan Cease, you'd think is advantage Dylan Cease. Vegas says the Padres is a minus 135 favorite, but I understand Mike Faren's point.
Yeah, I am, even before we talked to Mike, I am a little nervous and more nervous than I was last night's game. Last night's game, I felt really good about it because Walker Buehler has not pitched well this season.
Right.
Tatis has had great career numbers against him. I did not think he was going to go out and go 5 scoreless. And I felt good about last night, and turned out to be a win. Tonight, I still feel good about this game.
Sure.
I still feel like if they can get to the bullpen early, that's advantage Padres. But the problem is the Padres have not done well off the Dodger bullpen in this series so far. They've done all their and for the entire postseason, they've done all their damage off the starters early, and they have not done much late, other than game 2 after the Manny huddle. Now that was not off of their top guys, the Dodgers' top guys. It wasn't off of Trinan. It wasn't off of Vesia or Hudson or Kopech.
Yeah,
it was off of their secondary guys, right?
It was off of who? Grove.
Yeah. You're not going to probably see those guys tonight unless the Dodgers are trailing.
By the way, Brazier in that game allowed 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning.
He did.
He
I don't even remember that.
So, I mean, maybe that works to their advantage.
Key for the game tonight, score runs early, because if it becomes a situation where you're trailing late, the Dodgers are going to stress the hell out of their top relievers, and that could be a problem.
Yes, absolutely. In an effort to get this thing back to a 5th game, which would be played, obviously, at Dodger Stadium. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. We do have a giveaway for you here today. We'll do it in the 4 o'clock hour, 4-pack of tickets to see Howl O Scream at SeaWorld. It's going on now through November 2nd. We'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to San Diego's largest nighttime Halloween event, SeaWorld's Howl O Scream, now through November 2nd. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. Marty Caswell from inside Petco Park will join us at 4:30, and Darron Trip is with us at 5:30. Hour 2 of Jon and Jim for the Naughty Barrel comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres-Dodgers, Game 4 tonight. You know the matchup. Padres, they win. They move on to the National League Championship Series. Moving over to other scores around baseball happening right now. Philly and New York, the Mets. Game 4 in New York. Philly leads that game right now 1-0, top of the 6th inning. Earlier today, the Tigers, they shut out the Cleveland Guardians 3-0 to take a 2-1 series lead there. And the Yankees and Royals are moments away from first pitch in Kansas City with that series tied up at 1 game apiece. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
It's going to be a magic night at Petco. We break down the game live from Naughty Barrel with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We are at a packed Naughty Barrel at 9th and Market. Padres fans enjoying some great food and drink and getting ready for this pivotal Game 4. San Diego's taking control of the series at 2-1. Can they close it out in a 4th game? This reminds me a lot of having this discussion in 2022, the importance of trying to avoid going back to Los Angeles. Now, I think the difference this time around is if you did have to go back to LA, you do have Yu Darvish, who has pitched so brilliantly against the Dodgers in his career, including in Game 2. But with all of that being said, you don't want to tempt fate and risk it, right? I think getting back to LA would be advantage Dodgers, even if it is Yamamoto or even if it is Flaherty against Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
Like, I would much prefer that never presenting itself. You'd be giving the Dodgers a lot of belief if the series gets extended out. Not to say you can't win in 5. They absolutely could win it in 5, but a lot like 2022, just prevent that from happening. Take care of business here and prevent this from getting to a 5th game.
And if you remember, Dodgers had a 3-0 lead, bottom 7 in Game 4 in 2022.
Right.
Luckily, Dave Roberts effed that one up as well, and their bullpen wasn't as good, and Vesia gave it up. Vesia has been lights out this year for the Dodgers, sub-2 ERA. You're going to see Vesia tonight. I think regardless of the situation, they're trailing. Obviously, if they're leading the game, you will see Vesia, you will see Hudson, you will see Kopech, you will see Trinan. You're going to see those 4 guys. That right there, minimum of 4 innings. You could probably push it with Trinan because he didn't pitch yesterday, and he hasn't pitched in now 3 days because he didn't pitch Sunday as well.
Right.
So I would suspect that you're going to see Trinan for multiple innings. Kopech probably just 1 since he pitched last night. Vesia maybe multiple depending on the matchups. And with that in mind, you got to score early. You got to get runs on the board early so you don't have a situation where it's the end of the game where you get into the 6th and 7th inning facing the guys I just mentioned trailing. Because right now, the Padres done nothing against those guys. Short sample size in this series, but they've also done nothing against really any top relievers this entire postseason.
Which also proves the point that it's hard to do good work against top relievers in the postseason. Like, go back to yesterday and look at what the Dodgers did against the Estradas and the Suarezes and the Adams and the Scotts, and they didn't do anything either. So that's why it is important to get an early lead. Marty Caswell from San Diego Sports 760 inside Petco Park will join us at 4:30. Darron Trip, NBC 7 at 5:30. We're at the Naughty Barrel downtown, 9th and Market, 2 blocks from Petco Park. Come say hello, grab a bite to eat, grab a drink, as first pitch is 2 hours away. And right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Is tonight a must-win game?
For who?
Obviously, for one of them it is.
One of them it is.
One of them it is. We haven't talked about this yet. It's a must-win game for both teams. I just you never want to get to a decisive Game 5, Game 3, Game 7. So if you have a chance to close that team out, you got to do it, because getting to a Game 5, Game 7, Game 3, whatever it is, those are always just so tricky. Anything can happen. So, yeah, must-win game tonight, both sides, obviously. I was going to mention, we haven't talked about it yet. I think tonight you could see the end of an era if the Padres win, and that is I think Dave Roberts is managing for his job.
He's toast.
Potentially 2
You know
games
what's interesting? I'm not convinced of it. You might be right, but I'm not convinced of it. I don't know. I'm not thoroughly convinced of it. I think it's a possibility, but I'm not fully convinced of it. I think they could have done it maybe previously, certainly last year after losing to Arizona. So I'm not fully convinced of it or not. It's possible. I'm just not fully convinced this is the last game we'll manage if they lose.
I think he's toast.
I think if the Padres win tonight, Dave Roberts is using his rental car, driving back to his home in Cardiff.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think that he's going to have to
Uber.
do that. He's going to have to Uber back to his home in Cardiff, because if I'm the Dodgers and I'm Andrew Freeman, this is unacceptable. And I don't care how many injuries you have. As Mike Shildt says, winners find solutions, losers make excuses. And that's where I'm at with the Dodgers for a team that spent $1 billion in the offseason.
Potentially. I don't know what difference it'll make. I don't know if it'll make a huge difference like it's made in San Diego between Melvin and Shildt or not for the Dodgers if they do move on. It is a must-win game. If it goes to a 5th game at Dodger Stadium, my guess is even with Darvish on the mound, the Dodgers would probably be a slim favorite at home. And you're asking a lot to winning a decisive game on the road against a team as good as LA. So I do think this is a must-win game. We know it is for the Dodgers. I think it is for the Padres as well. Next question.
Real quick, they'll have to blame somebody, and they're not going to blame Ohtani, so it will be Roberts.
I don't think they're going to, DFA Ohtani.
Guys, did the Padres go too far in banning Ken Rosenthal from the dugout last night?
No, Ken deserved it. He wrote a piece that I think we both thought was out of line. I mean, you can write that piece if you want, but the things that he was saying in it, when he was describing certain players as dancing peacocks and the kid at school that pulls the fire alarm and says, "Oh, who, me?" And what did he call Machado? An irritant or
an irritant?
Irritant. And then he also said that he, the sling, what was it? The
sinister sling.
Sinister sling that Machado had. If you want to write an article,
so dumb.
You can do it, but the tone that he used in that article absolutely warranted right now the 1-game ban of Ken Rosenthal from the Padres dugout.
I'm going longer than 1 game. I'm riding this thing out as long as I'm in the postseason.
Can they do
us
that though?
Against the world. I mean, how can they do it for 1 game?
True.
Why can they do it for 1 game but not 2?
The entire rest of the postseason, no Ken Rosenthal?
Fox owns the broadcast rights.
I know.
If there's an issue with it, Fox would have brought it up with Major League Baseball. They've already done it for 1 game. I say, as long as you win, don't communicate with Ken Rosenthal, who somehow had the moxie or balls to go into the clubhouse last night and actually speak with Padres players post-game. I can't believe he did that. I also still can't believe he wrote what he wrote about Machado and the Padres. I also can't believe the editor allowed that to go up. I feel like Mike Gundy, who said, I'm a man on 40, and the editor should be ashamed of himself. Yeah. The editor at The Athletic for allowing that to be published, that is an embarrassment. This isn't social media where you can tweet out whatever you want. There's an editor at The Athletic. So as much as Ken Rosenthal is responsible, so is The Athletic for publishing that garbage.
Yeah, there were undertones in that article that made you think, what the hell are you writing, buddy?
What was he thinking?
Yeah.
Next question.
Is pitching Dylan Cease on short rest a good idea?
I'd rather have Dylan Cease out there on 3 days than Martin Perez on full rest
on 100 days
that hasn't pitched in 2 weeks.
Right.
It's a move that you're going for the kill. And if Dylan Cease, which it looks like by reading some quotes here from Mike Shildt, who just talked to the media, was very convincing to him yesterday, saying look, dude, don't treat me like I only got 30 pitches in me. I had 82 pitches on Saturday night. I'm ready to go. The adrenaline that he's going to get from the crowd tonight will get him, I feel like, at least through 4. 4 to me, if you can get through 4 with the lead, and hell, if you get through 5, then I feel great about their chances. If Dylan Cease gets through 5, that means he's pitching well, and the Padres are still in the game, or they have the lead.
And you can then turn it over to your high leverage relievers, potentially in a tie or with a lead, and you feel good about that. I say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and this is a shot worth taking. You got Dylan Cease for a reason.
Yeah.
He's been a big part of this team. He's pitched at times like an ace this year. Use him because you have him, and that's what the Padres strategy is here tonight. Let's get to the next question.
Do you think Fernando will homer again tonight?
I wouldn't put it past him. I think he's going to have a big game again. I don't know if he'll have a home run. The bullpen thing, like what Mike Faren said, that's true, man.
Yeah.
You're seeing different arms every single inning. It's hard to see you're never going to see a reliever 2-3 times. That's not going to happen. So you're going to be seeing different matchups, and I mean, Tatis is just red hot right now. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm not going to say he's going to homer tonight, but I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to be impactful.
I think he reaches base safely 3 times or more, and I think they do employ Mike Faren's strategy. I think they work around him and say, you know what, in a small sample size of a game, make Jurickson Profar, make Manny Machado. I don't think it's a great strategy.
Yeah.
Make Jackson Merrill beat us, but we will not allow Fernando Tatis Jr. to unload, ignite his team and the crowd, stare at another home run ball as he's done all series long against us. You can't allow that to happen if you're Dave Roberts or if you're the Dodgers bullpen. It doesn't mean it's easy facing Profar and Machado and Merrill and Arise and so on and so forth. But to lose to Tatis makes it look like you could have come up with another idea. You could have gone about this differently. So I'd be surprised if Tatis solely beats them again the way he's beaten them a couple of times already in this series.
Who has a big game tonight? Are you taking Tatis?
Well, I think Tatis is going to reach base safely a number of times.
I'm going with Jackson Merrill. I think Jackson Merrill has put up some amazing at-bats against the Dodgers bullpen. He had the 2-run home run the other night off the Dodgers bullpen against Kopech in game 1, or was it Trinan? I forget. Remember that incredible 10-pitch at-bat walk?
I do, yeah.
And then Manny came to the plate, I think, as the go-ahead run. I think Jackson Merrill has seen the Dodgers bullpen very well so far early this series. I'm going with Jackson Merrill to have a big game tonight.
I'm going with Luis Arise. He is
due.
so
He's
due.
so due.
He is so due. Luis Arise, that tailor-made, we've seen it a dozen times, 3+ hit game. Luis Arise is so due for that night. Tonight's the night Luis Arise shines for the Padres. All right,
who's
Dave
more
Roberts
due than him?
Who's that?
Crone's own.
Well, he had 2 hits last night.
He's due for a bigger hit. He's due for
Yes.
maybe a home run or a big double,
Yeah.
RBI double.
Well, he was due
extra
going
base
into
hits.
last night and had 2 hits.
He's been due for a while. That baby's going to be big.
Yeah, but again, last
Hope
night,
so.
2 hits and a run scored, part of that 6-run inning. All right, Dave Roberts has the latest on Freddie Freeman. He is in the starting lineup. Will he play the entire game or not? We've got the latest from Dave Roberts on the other side as we get you ready for Game 4, plus Marty Caswell from inside Petco Park from San Diego Sports 760 will join us coming up at 4:30. We're at the Naughty Barrel downtown, 9th and Market on a sunny 70-degree day in downtown San Diego, getting you ready for Game 4. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. Hey guys, it's Jon and Jim, and we've been telling you about our friends over at Jamul Casino, which is a terrific spot, and it's great for sports fans because they've got all the action all October long. We're talking about the Major League Baseball postseason, of course the NFL, including Monday Night Football, and each and every Monday night, you've got a chance to win big with Jamul.
Yeah, you can earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash. John, this is a promotion that you guys are not going to want to miss.
You're going to love that. You're also going to love Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, which is just a great spot for all sports fans because you can watch all the action, MLB, NFL, all sports. I mean, the NHL and NBA are back. In addition, they've got great food and drink, and they have endless dining 5 nights a week, and their endless dining options include Saturday surf and turf buffet. They've gone over the top with perfect combinations of succulent steaks, delectable seafood, and more.
Yeah, get to Jamul Casino today. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. It's a great place to watch a Padres playoff game. Go to Jamul Casino. It's fun above all else.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
And breaking news from the shadow of Petco here at the Naughty Barrel. It's being reported by multiple media outlets right now. Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers has been scratched from Game 4 with an ankle, and it's going to result in massive changes. Chris Taylor will play center field tonight. Max Muncy will play first base tonight. Kike Hernandez is in the lineup and playing third base tonight for Los Angeles. So Freddie Freeman, who has not been near 100% if you've been watching the last 3 games, has looked nothing like himself. He will not give it a go. He was in the initial lineup. He will not start. He's unexpected to play. Maybe he'd be available off their bench, but no Freddie Freeman in a huge game, obviously, for both teams here tonight at Petco Park.
Yeah, that's massive because Freddie Freeman has had a pretty decent series at the plate. I mean, for all things considered, he had the one hit yesterday that broke up the string of however many retired in a row
in the 8th inning. You're right.
Gave the Dodgers a chance there with the tying run on and the go-ahead run at the plate, and having Mike Schilt have to bring in Robert Suarez for a 4-out save.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's a big loss for sure. But if you're the Dodgers, you need to have your healthiest, best team out there. And if Freddie Freeman is not going to be fully healthy for you, what if he can't make a dive at first base and be fully healthy to get a ball that goes down the line? Like maybe last night, if he's healthy, he gets that ball that David Peralta hits up the first base line. I don't know. Maybe.
I completely agree with that, by the way. And by the way, I don't think having like a Kike Hernandez, Chris Taylor, Max Muncy combination in there is like admitting defeat. I mean, they have enough on their bench that has really been a separator for them over the years. Now, in any one game, is that going to be a difference? But if Freddie Freeman isn't close, he's not close to 100%.
Not even close.
If you saw him come down on first base last night,
my gosh,
and kind of re-aggravate that ankle. I mean, this guy is playing on one leg right now.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to be impactful and your season is on the line, wouldn't you just go with your healthy unit that is available to you? And that's what the Dodgers have decided to do about 90 minutes out from Game 4 here.
All right, one key player to watch in the Dodgers lineup, other than obviously Shohei Ohtani, who's had some good numbers against Dylan Cease and the 3-run homer in Game 1 off Dylan Cease. It's Kike Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
His lifetime career numbers against Dylan Cease. He's 5 for 12 with a home run and a 1250 OPS.
That is good.
That is a big key while Dylan Cease is out there. We've talked a lot about the bottom half of the Dodgers lineup. The last 2 games, they were not good. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they lost both those games. Game 1, they were fantastic. Probably not a coincidence that they won that game because the bottom of their lineup was really good. Kike is in the bottom of their lineup tonight. You have to make sure you contain the bottom of the lineup, obviously with the top end, with Ohtani and Mookie and Teoscar Hernandez. That's without saying. But if the bottom of the lineup is going to get on base tonight and did what they did in Game 1, that's a problem.
By the way, Miguel Rojas is out. Adductor.
Was he out? You mean out last night?
No,
or
he's
out
out
of the game?
He's out.
Oh,
He might have been out last night, but he's out.
Was he really?
And
I think he was.
I don't know if he was or not. I don't know if that was from last night or a joke. And Freddie Freeman is out. Now, is he available? He's probably available. But he's out, and he's not going to start in this game, which means the Dodgers are absolutely shorthanded. And again, they're going with a true bullpen day where you got to have everything go your way. You can't have any trouble in there. If all of a sudden you turn things over to Michael Kopech and he's not pitching effectively. You saw the John Boy breakdown on Kopech last night? Did you see? Because Machado was saying he was saying to Machado, this guy's not, he was saying Spanish, it's like, your fastball's terrible, it's not good.
Yeah.
Just look for fastball and hit it. Yeah. So that was Kopech last night for Machado. My point is, you got to have everyone bridging their way to the next to make it effective in a bullpen game, which we've seen happen before. But you are asking a lot. You are taxing your bullpen if you're Los Angeles. You're asking Kopech, Trinan, et cetera, to be on their A game against a really good lineup. The Padres lineup right now is good enough to mess that up, that strategy for Los Angeles.
I think that if Michael Kopech's out there late in the game and they're trailing, I think he's hittable. Even if they're, regardless of what the score is, I think if Kopech's out there tonight, which he will be, I think he's gettable tonight. The one guy that scares me is Blake Trinan because he's not pitched in 3 days. And we saw what he did in Game 1, going multiple innings. I think he went 4 outs, an inning in the third, because Kopech did not have it in game 1, and he looked really good. So if Kopech's out there, I think he's gettable tonight. I think Vesia could be a problem. Hudson, I'm not truly scared of, but I think he's going to be pitching as well. And Kopech, if the Dodgers have a 1-run lead in the 9th and it's Kopech over Trinan, I mean, buckle your seatbelts if you're a Dodger fan, in my opinion. Kopech looks kind of gettable.
Yeah, this is really interesting development that you have a team sit for a week that's the banged-up team. Freddie Freeman, I remember in real time when he got hurt against the Padres at the end of the regular season, I'm like, that's a problem.
Dude, his ankle was a 90-degree ankle.
I'm like, if that's high ankle, that's not solved in a week.
4 to 6
and
weeks.
It's been a massive problem for them this series. And then you got a situation like Rojas last night, who was the adductor, also made a terrible play defensively in that 6-run inning. So they're really trying to, piecemeal it together against a really good team on the road. And so far, advantage Padres because they've taken 2 of the first 3 games. This isn't the opponent that I think I can just piecemeal it together against. The Padres are too good and are fully capable of taking advantage of it. So can they finish this thing off in game 4 behind Dylan Cease on short rest? Jim gave you the numbers earlier. Pitchers on short rest haven't been invincible. In fact, they haven't even been very good in Major League Baseball history, at least in the last 30 or so years. And if you're the Padres, though, again, this is like a cliche. I smell blood in the water.
Yeah.
I got Dylan Cease. I got a 2-1 series lead. I got Freddie Freeman out of the lineup. I know there's all kinds of question marks with the LA Dodgers as they enter game 4. This is the game you need to score first in. This is the game you need to win and move on in.
Yep. You gotta make sure that you kind of end it tonight. If you don't end it tonight, then you are in danger for, game 5, obviously. So hold on 1 second here. I have to do this. Wait. Okay. There we go. Sorry. I had to pay my parking thing.
Oh, good radio. Yeah. Pay your parking when we're going to take a commercial.
Oh, I thought you were going to just jump up and do it like yesterday.
Well,
that's good.
Yeah. No, I had to do it on my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not at a break, though, right?
No, not at a break.
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
No.
Maybe not like the last break or the upcoming break in 60 seconds. You just want to.
I want to do it now.
E-break it.
Yes,
I want to. Kind of like yesterday when you were buying tickets on air for an hour. And just
I thought about it,
the
and I had 1 minute left, and I don't have a patience right now to get a ticket, bro.
From the guy that was going to spend $500 on tickets last night.
That's true.
To the game, he doesn't want. It was. By the way, he got a ticket last week, and now he's so fearful of getting another ticket. Have you paid that ticket? Because you're going to get a warrant.
Oh, that's right. A warrant for my rent.
They're going to arrest you here. If I see an officer, I could just tell him, there's a warrant out for Jim's arrest.
I didn't pay my parking ticket in time. Sorry.
All right, Marty Caswell is inside Petco Park. She's got the latest, the impact of Freddie Freeman's loss on the Dodgers. He is not in their starting lineup. The decision to go with Dylan Cease on short rest and more. Marty Caswell, San Diego Sports 760. She will join us coming up on the other side. You need to get to the Naughty Barrel. We are here until 6 p.m. 9th and Market ahead of Game 4. This place is packed and humming. People are watching the MLB postseason, and you can get here and watch the Padres even if you don't have tickets tonight like me and Jim. Marty Caswell from inside the ballpark. She will join us next on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres and Dodgers game 4 tonight at Petco Park. 6:08 first pitch. Dylan Cease on the mound on 3 days rest for the Padres. Dodgers are going bullpen day. Moving over to scores happening right now in the postseason. Phillies and Mets game 4 in New York. Right now, Philadelphia has a 1-0 lead over the Mets, bottom of the 6th inning, but developing right now, the Mets have the bases loaded and no outs there. They have a 2-1 series lead in that series. Moving over to the Tigers and the Guardians. Tigers, they shut out the Guardians today 3-0. They hold now a 2-1 series lead there. In Yankees and Royals, they're underway in Kansas City. It's a scoreless game, bottom of the 2nd. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
It's going to be a magic night at Petco. We break down the game live from Naughty Barrel with Jon and Jim.
All right, let's go inside Petco Park. I think we have Marty Caswell with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760.
From the moon, or Petco.
Friend of the show, Marty Caswell, with San Diego Sports 760. She's been doing an amazing job covering Padres postseason baseball. You can find all of her content, by the way, on YouTube as well, searching for Marty Time TV. So, Marty, appreciate it. We know you're inside the ballpark right now. What do you make in general of the decision? It was announced yesterday, but Dylan Cease on 3 days rest. What was your reaction to that? Thanks for hopping on.
What's going on, guys? It's not too surprising. I think that Mike Schultz in today's presser said that was kind of a consideration when they pulled him from the game on Saturday, even though he was struggling. So it's not too surprising. Pretty much, it's going to be balls to the wall today. Everyone's going to be available. You're hoping that you can probably get 4, maybe 5 innings from Dylan Cease, and then turn it over to a bullpen that's been effective. By the way, Jon, I did want to start by complimenting Jim Russell on this update. That was a very good update. He didn't mess up once.
Oh, thank you, Marty. I appreciate that.
Do you say that, Marty? Because typically he screws up his updates, right?
Yeah.
But it was really good. It was like suspenseful. He had the bases loaded for the Mets with nobody out, and I asked him to go fact check it. I walked past the TV to check if that was true, and it was true. So good job.
Yeah. Now they're 1 out, still bases loaded.
Okay.
Bottom of the 6th inning. I think they're making a pitching change there, Marty. I want to go back because I really haven't heard your thoughts on the whole Manny Machado situation. What'd you make of? I mean, you were there on Sunday, and what'd you make of that whole situation? The throwing the ball, and then afterwards, yesterday or Monday, Dave Roberts calling him out, and the article by Ken. Like, what's your whole thoughts on this whole thing?
It's a lot there. It's just a really, really weird situation. Now, I don't think for a second that Manny Machado was trying to hit Dave Roberts. And so when Dave said that he had intent behind it, it was disturbing. Yeah, his intent was to send a message like, don't hit our guy. Like, don't even try to intimidate us. I don't think his message was to physically hurt somebody. And I thought Mike Schultz had a funny answer yesterday when he said that, he's got a great arm. He's got a very accurate arm. He can, as we saw by the triple play. So his intent maybe was to send a message to Flaherty and those guys, like, stop hitting our best player in Tatis. And I was really surprised that Dave Roberts, and as he mentioned in his presser, he didn't actually, he didn't notice that in real time. It was brought to his attention. So I'm really surprised that he brought it up the way he did and elaborated the way he did and made it like a personal thing. I actually think that it had the opposite effect, and it really painted Manny in more of a sympathetic light, and it made the Dodgers seem like a bunch of whiners. Not just him, Max Muncy, everybody else. So it's just weird. Maybe he's trying to fire up his team, but I don't know what else. I don't know what purpose it serves.
Yeah, and it seems like it's feeding right into like the Padres' hands, truthfully. Making it personal with the Padres has not worked well for teams this year. Marty Caswell with us right now on Jon and Jim. Do you feel as if the Dodgers could treat Tatis differently tonight? Like we've been talking about, do the Padres treat Ohtani differently and have these Ohtani rules? Will the Dodgers let Tatis beat them here tonight, or make it be someone else, even though they have capable players that could beat them as well?
No, because they have too many guys. They have a lot of firepower in that lineup. I mean, at least 1 through 5. Maybe the bottom of the order is different, but no, I just think that when you have Manny Machado, and hopefully Jurickson Profar, then I just don't think that you're going to treat him differently because the guys behind him are going to make you pay. So I don't think so. But you're the Padres, man. You don't want to let Ohtani can't let Ohtani beat you, especially now with Freddie Freeman being scratched.
Right. Yeah, just scratched moments ago.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. I know that's a huge deal for their lineup. I've been seeing your tweets, Marty, along the lines of comparing atmospheres. How Dodger Stadium was dead and Petco Park is it? I mean, the atmosphere at Petco last night.
It's insane.
It's insane. For sure. And
I couldn't even hear you guys. I couldn't even hear myself talk. And you know me, I talk very loud. But it was through the roof. And I was at Dodger Stadium for both those games. And listen, Ohtani blast got everybody going, right? And I just think the dagger for the Dodgers in this series. We can talk about Tatis. We can talk about the 6 home runs they hit. It may have been Profar robbing Mookie Betts of the home run. I mean, it just shut that place up. It was an amazing moment. I don't think they've recovered from that. And this is one thing, I know people love to hate on the broadcasters. They always do that, right? But one thing I caught when I had the audio on listening to John Smoltz was he was saying, like, man, just wait until we get to Petco Park and you see how loud it is. There is such a contrast in environment between Dodger Stadium and Petco Park. It got really annoying. Dodger Stadium. They would have celebrities every single inning. They're pre-recorded, screaming at you. It's like Walter White or Kevin Hart or I forget the other guy. But they would have celebrities get loud, make noise. It's like they would have the pregame entertainer telling Dodger fans, "I can't hear you. Get loud." That doesn't happen at Petco Park. Especially in the playoffs. It was just a really weird atmosphere that 55,000 people could be so quiet.
Yeah, Tom DeLonge is much better than Mario Lopez.
That loser. They mean that loser traitor Mario Lopez?
The loser traitor.
Traitor,
hey, Marty,
absolute traitor.
Quick update, grand slam by the Mets. They lead 4-1.
No.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So they're now just outs away from advancing to the NLCS.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
It's
Francisco
Sunday.
Lindor grand slam. So there you go.
Wow, Lindor. By the way, how do you guys feel with that matchup? I mean, I don't know that. It's funny. I did an interview like a couple weeks ago with Alvin Gonzalez, or maybe it was at Denver MLB Network. I'm like, who's the one team if you're the Padres that you don't want to see in the playoffs? And I think the answer was the Mets.
Yeah, I said it. I said the Mets.
Can't talk about it until the series is over.
Job's not finished, Marty. Job is not finished. You got to finish off the job tonight to make sure we can then talk about the NLCS.
Okay, Mike Schill. Hey, by the way, I'm going to throw something out to you. Okay, so I've interviewed AJ Preller in the clubhouse the last 2 clinching celebrations right here at Petco Park for the wild card. Wait, playoff spot, wild card. I'm running out of questions. I'm going to assume that I will get that chance to do it again later. If you had a question for AJ Preller, what would it be? You don't have to answer it now. You can send it to me. You can text me. Yeah. Please text me because I need something good.
Okay. All right.
We'll think about that over the next hour.
We're going to text you. Yeah. Marty, last night,
question.
That 6-run inning doesn't happen, obviously, without Manny Machado's headsy base running decisions.
Right.
Obviously, the way that whole inning. What'd you say?
And his baseball IQ. When's
his
that?
Baseball IQ. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, when you think back on that inning, was that? I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing, right? I mean, the play that Manny Machado made last night could have been the difference between being up a game or down a game.
Yeah, absolutely. It could have been, especially the slim margins of the 1-run ball game.
Yep.
I'm not sure that we were thinking about that in that moment.
Sure.
Early on, I was thinking, man, the Padres have to build upon this. They have to build upon this lead because a 1-run ball game isn't going to be good enough to beat the Dodgers, but it ultimately was. But that was a huge play. It's defining moments. I'm talking about the Mookie Betts being robbed. The Manny Machado play may very well end up being the pivotal play of this, one of the many pivotal plays of this entire series. It was great.
Is this comparable to 2022 in your opinion, Marty? I mean, we were there in 2022.
No, because this is a more talented team. And I think there's more of a belief, man, that there's more of a belief in this team that this team is unstoppable. And I think it's something that Jay Cronenworth said earlier today because he was asked about how is this team different. He just said that we have been building towards this the entire season with the pitching staff. And he talked about after the trade deadline, they kind of went into a funk, then they finished hot, like going like an 18-3 stretch. But he's saying that the way these guys, the way they've come together, the hitting approach, the bullpen, the trade deadline, like everything has been culminating towards this moment. Like, and you hear Tatis last night that we're not even close to being how good that we can be. There's a different sort of confidence, and this is like a really, really strange thing to say. But I thought about this the past couple of weeks when the you guys remember this thing called the swag chain? You guys remember the piñatas? Do you remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
You remember
the
sombreros?
The garage,
Dude, that was a year ago. And it's like now, it's like when they win these games now, it's more matter of fact because they expect it. It's everything. Everything about this team has really, really changed, including that they expect to win. So it just feels like the Padres have a lot of belief, and they have a much deeper bullpen. And especially when you have the loss of Joe Musgrove, which to me is significant, I think they'd be favored over, Mets if they had Musgrove. But the fact that they short up their bullpen is only going to help them. And this is a much better bullpen than last year, which is crazy.
No doubt about it.
Because Josh Hader was lights out last year. He was. And Suarez was strong too. But man, you can if you can get 4 from Dylan Cease and you have a lead, you feel very good about your bullpen.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you bring your Disneyland plastic bag?
No. Okay. I actually found my poncho from Disney Sea from when I went to Japan last year. So I found that, and I'm going to use a better scrunchie to hold my Ziploc bag over my camera. So I think I'm good to go.
Perfect. Hopefully, scrunchies and ponchos from years ago.
Well, hopefully usable tonight. Hopefully you use those tonight.
Hopefully there's no mold on my poncho because I haven't washed it off since from a year ago.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. If they win, you'll just get washed off with champagne and beer.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Marty,
appreciate you doing it. Enjoy Game 4. We'll see. Potential clincher
John.
for the Padres. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks, John. We'll talk Ken Palm next time.
Yes, I look forward to that. I don't think it's out yet for the upcoming season.
It might be. He'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, it's not yet out.
Okay.
But I'll let you know what it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice jinx there, Jim.
For what?
Like, did you bring all your stuff for the?
I wanted to know. I mean, I said if they win. I didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, I said that.
No, you didn't.
I said it.
Brent,
no.
Find the question that he just asked Marty.
No, I said, did
we'll
you
play it on the other side?
No, I said, look,
did
you bring your Disneyland plastic bag? And then, if they win.
Well, okay, let's play it on the other side.
How about we not? Who cares? I'm not. I've not once said today it's a celebration tonight. It's gonna. I've said the entire show so far. It's gonna be a tough matchup tonight with the bullpen against the Dodgers because of how many different arms you're gonna see every inning.
You don't want to talk Ken Palm though.
No.
You want to talk parking?
No,
All right,
I don't.
on the other side, we'll get you ready. Game 4, Padres-Dodgers. We are here until 6 p.m. Darron Trip, NBC7 will join us at 5:30. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim. In October is where baseball legends are born. Take your shot at greatness by playing Underdog's Pick'em game. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats like strikeouts or home runs.
Yeah, download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. Use promo code Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite team's players. Half home run, or I don't know, Mookie Betts or Shohei Ohtani. That'd be a nice bet.
That would be a very good bet. And you can go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. You can sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JONANDJIM to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer.
You must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ntpgambling.org.
going to be a magic night at Petco. We break down the game live from Naughty Barrel with Jon and Jim.
All right, back here at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. We remind you, San Diego Sports 760 is giving you a chance all week to win a 4-pack of tickets to San Diego's largest nighttime Halloween event. We'll give away these tickets in the next 10 minutes. SeaWorld's Howl O Scream going on now through November 2nd. 5 terror-filled houses, new scare zones and haunts, and death-defying drops with rides after dark. Themed food and bars, and the master of ceremonies when all creatures get released. A night you won't dare venture alone. For information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com. More info at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. We'll give those away in 10 minutes. We are an hour out, just over an hour out. We're at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. Is tonight the night or not? Again, the Mets are now just outs away from potentially advancing to the National League Championship Series. They are leading in the bottom of the 7th inning over Philadelphia. So 6 outs defensively for New York. And they would upset the top seed and move on to the National League Championship Series, where no matter who they face, whether it's San Diego or LA, they play games 1 and 2 on the road.
And if the Mets beat the Phillies tonight, that would guarantee home field for either the Dodgers or the Padres. So, if the Padres advance here, game 1 would be here at Petco Park on Sunday. Game 2 on Monday.
This is the same situation that played out in 2022 in terms of wild card teams advancing. We talked about this off air. No National League team in this era has advanced with a bye in 2022 or 2023.
0-4.
They could be 0-5 in about 30 minutes in New York.
35, 40 minutes.
Okay, 35 minutes. They could be 0-5 if the Mets can hold a relatively large 4-1 lead against the Philadelphia Phillies. So that has been a theme that has played out. And then we'll see about the American League, where the Royals and Yankees are underway. And again, the Tigers won earlier today to take a 2-1 lead in that series. So we've talked for now 2 years about the format. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the format. It's worked out pretty well for the Padres. It worked out well in 2022. They've got a 2-1 lead here in 2024. But it seems like the format always comes into conversation since this new format was released 3 years ago.
Why do you think, it's just in the National League, it's been that way where the team that has the bye is just coincidence?
I think it's coincidence.
It's just baseball?
Small sample size, 4 series.
I mean, I do think there's something to
the bye.
Being hot at the right time, having the bye, and knowing that if you just split on the road in the division series,
you've got home field.
You got home field. Mm-hmm. And it's clear advantage, road the team going in there off the wild card when you think about it.
Yeah, and the other thing is game 3 for the team with the bye is their third starter, and game 3 for the team that played in the first round is now turning the rotation
That
over.
was Michael King last night, and Walker Buehler.
One team's turned the rotation over, which means if you steal one of the first 2, it becomes clear advantage to the wild card team.
Right. Now, again, it's
kind of weird.
It's one of those things where it's like, well, the argument on the other side is, well, in the American League, they're 3-1. And the Astros just won a World Series, and they had a bye.
So it's kind of evened out because you got a team that's won a World Series. Bless you. I think 2 years is probably too short of a period of time to make broad stroke statements.
Yeah.
Now, this is the 3rd year, and we'll see who ends up winning the World Series in 2024. But I think this format is probably here. If anything, I think they'll be letting more teams into the postseason in the future, not fewer. So I feel like this format is not going to go away. So we shall see. Now, Marty likes Dylan Cease tonight on 3 days rest. I like the decision to, quote-unquote, go for it. And that's what the Padres are doing here tonight. We had Mike Faren, MLB Network Radio, with us about 90 minutes ago. And Mike said, I don't like the decision. He didn't like going to Dylan Cease on 3 days rest for the first time in his career. He prefers bullpen day over Dylan Cease, which is kind of saying something, as Dylan Cease is one of the top pitchers in the National League. But that's the big story tonight. Who outshines the other strategically, right? Is it the Padres' decision to go with Cease on 3 days rest, or is it the Dodgers' decision to go to the bullpen to start game 4? That's going to be a huge talking point after this one.
I feel fine with it. I know Mike Faren didn't fully like it just because of the numbers historically with guys starting on 3 days rest in the postseason. But again, the other option is what, Mike? Martin Perez? Bullpen day for the Padres as well?
Yeah. Bullpen day.
If you have Dylan Cease ready to go and he wants to pitch and he didn't throw 110 pitches in game one.
Right.
Through 82 or 83.
82.
82. So he's been much better at home. He's got much better numbers here at Petco than he does on the road. A couple guys in the Dodgers lineup does scare me because they have good lifetime numbers off Dylan Cease. But you're not asking Dylan Cease for 7 shutout tonight. You're asking Dylan Cease to get you through 5 with the lead. That's what you're asking him to do. It's the same thing that happened last night with Michael King. Michael King went 5, gave up 5. That line in a regular season game, not good. In a postseason game, you give up 5, go 5, but you leave with the lead. That's all that matters.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, I'm just trusting in the Padres. I've said this so often, to figure out a way. Like, I don't think this is smooth sailing 9-0 win. Maybe they do go down a run in the first inning, and then maybe they come back like they did yesterday with a big inning.
Yeah.
I just feel like even Atlanta game 2 was a lot scarier than game 1. I thought last night was, by the seat of your pants at times in game 3. I think the same thing tonight, but I trust in the Padres at home in front of their fans to figure out a way to do it, even if it's unconventional. I think last night was unconventional. Their 6-run inning isn't something that happens every single day of the week, the way they did it. So I don't know if it's because of Cease. I don't know if it's because of their lineup. I don't know if it's because of their bullpen. I just trust in the Padres right now. I feel as if they've got this cohesive unit that's going to figure out a way to win game 4 and avoid this from going back to Dodger Stadium. I hope I'm right.
I hope you are.
Otherwise,
right.
We're going to be nervous as hell for 48 hours.
Yeah, that will be a problem.
We'll be very nervous.
Everybody will be very nervous.
Yeah.
It's just when you have an opportunity to close out a team, those are the hardest games to win.
True.
Because that team across the field from you is not going to be just giving up. Especially, they're just not going to say, oh, screw it, we're down a game or we're down to our last. No, they're going to be fighting. And the Dodgers are going to be fighting tonight, even though they don't have Freddie Freeman. Even though they're going bullpen day, they are not going to give up and just die lightly. It's going to.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh, okay. What's going on here? Oh, and jump. There we go.
Be very careful jumping out of windows.
Yes.
Although if the window is on the ground level,
then we're okay.
If you and I do it every single week here, then
it's fine.
Yeah.
If we don't get hurt, especially
if I don't get hurt, then it's probably good.
It's good.
All right, who wants a 4-pack of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld? Call 877-767-4760. Caller 5, you're going. 877-767-4760. Caller 5, you're going to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream now through November 2nd. San Diego's largest nighttime Halloween event. For more information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com. That's SeaWorldSanDiego.com. The number to call, 877-767-4760. Darron Trip from NBC7 at 5:30 as we lead you up to first pitch. Padres and Dodgers from Petco Park in 1 hour. Worth the Naughty Barrel. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Patrell Real Estate Team. Padres-Dodgers, Game 4 tonight. Padres are looking to close out the Dodgers and move on to the National League Championship Series for the second time in 3 years. Dylan Cease on the mound tonight on 3 days rest, going up against a bullpen day for the Dodgers. Score update right now, Game 4 between the Mets and the Phillies. Mets have a 4-1 lead now thanks to a Francisco Lindor grand slam in the top of the 8th inning there. Phillies are fighting for their lives. They have a runner on and 2 outs in that one. The Mets win. They move on to the National League Championship Series. And earlier this afternoon, the Tigers, they shut out Cleveland Guardians 3-0. They have a 2-0 series lead there. And right now, Yankees and Royals, that series is tied up a 1 game apiece. They're in Kansas City for Game 3. It's scoreless in the top of the 4th. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour, Jon and Jim. We are 1 hour out. Game 4 of this National League Division Series between the Padres and the Dodgers. The Padres have a chance to end this series with a victory tonight behind Dylan Cease. And Darron Trip will join us coming up at 5:30. So tonight, is it going to be the night or not? We are at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. People obviously excited. The atmosphere last night was off the charts. It will be again here for Game 4. Nobody wants to see the thing go back to L.A., and by nobody, I mean Padres fans. No
Correct.
Padres fan wants to see this thing go back to L.A. This has got to be the night for me. Otherwise, you got 48 hours of storylines like we have between Game 2 and Game 3 where there's all this stupid drama, these ridiculous articles. Who even knows what would be manufactured between tonight and Friday? It's got to be tonight for the Padres. You got to treat this like your season is on the line. If you don't win it, your season could end. That's how you got to treat this. That's the way Mike Schultz got to manage here tonight as well.
He said as much during his pregame, media scrum, that he is treating tonight like, a must-win game. It's no question. They don't want to go back to Dodger Stadium. Nobody wants to see that. I still would feel pretty good about the Padres just because of the pitching matchup with Yu Darvish on the mound against either Yamamoto or Flaherty. So, yeah, you have Darvish in your back pocket, but you don't want to get to that point. You want to make sure that Yu Darvish is your Game 1 starter in the NLCS, not Game 5 on Friday.
100%. Yeah, there's no, and that's another good point to like the advantage of having Darvish to start a series.
Yeah.
Now, again, beggars can't be choosers. If you won in 5 games with Yu Darvish at Dodger Stadium, you'd still be well situated going into the National League Championship Series. But yeah, it's a good point. If you win it in 4, Darvish is slotted to start a Game 1 in a National League Championship Series, which would be incredible. No, you didn't order a beer, did you?
I didn't order a beer, no.
You haven't been drinking anything.
I've been drinking
water.
My water now.
I need some water also. We learned this afternoon within the hour. What's going on, man? How are you, dude? We taking photos?
Take a picture.
We appreciate
you.
Oh,
love
dude.
It, man. Here we go. Picture.
All right, let's get a photo. Smile.
Love it.
You,
have a good one, buddy.
Appreciate you. We learned today Freddie Freeman is out. He was clearly not 100% last night.
Yeah.
The impact to know Freddie Freeman tonight for L.A.? Question mark?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be up for at least a pinch hit role late in the game if it presents itself. Like, get treatment the whole game. And Freddie, can you give us a pinch hit? And if he can do that, then obviously they're going to pinch run for him if he gets on. So I don't think
true.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Freddie Freeman late in the game for a pinch hit spot. But I mean, it changes things as far as the entire course of the game. He's not going to be getting 3, 4, 5 at bats.
And the other thing is, like, I'm looking at their roster, Jim, and if they don't have Miguel Rojas and they pinch hit with a Freddie Freeman and then they pinch run, they're going to be real quick down to no position players. Be sure without one in Rojas. I don't know if they replaced him. I don't think they have. you are going to pinch hit Freeman maybe. If you take him out of the game, all right, you have another position player available, but all of a sudden you're out of position players. You could be out of position players very quickly. So, and again, the interesting thing, we said this before the series started, Freeman with the ankle, why not just DH him? Because they have Shohei Ohtani.
But
Most teams that have
teams,
a player of Freeman's caliber would DH a player like him, but you got the best DH in the world and Shohei, you can't put him in the field.
And he stepped on the bag again.
That's right.
He's trying to be so aware of making sure that he doesn't make a wrong move. That's when you make the wrong move. Like when you're like, okay, I got to walk a different way or run a different way, you end up hurting yourself. When you start thinking about it a lot, it becomes a problem. When you're not thinking about it, you're most likely fine. But that ankle just seems like it's too much to take right now. Obviously, not in the lineup tonight. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a pinch hit opportunity later in this game.
We haven't mentioned Manny. Remember in the 8th inning yesterday? Like he had a knee buckling situation. They worked on him, and
that was a
post game said it was cramps. Yeah. We saw cramps impact 2 in game 2.
Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, so that's been a little bit of a theme. Again, you got the adrenaline, you got the adversity, you got everything that goes into it. There's no scenario in the world where Manny Machado is missing any plate appearance or AB or anything. Manny Machado played essentially on a broken ankle. Was it in 2021 or 2022? Remember that?
2022.
In 2022. So you're not going to be without a Manny Machado. And Freddie Freeman, to his credit, has tried to give it a go. He's been in there by and large, but if he's not healthy, he's not healthy.
It's an injury that takes longer than 10 days. It's a 4 to 6 week injury.
Yep.
And he went out there on 10 days off. And then he re-aggravated it. No, not surprised one bit.
Right.
But nobody's going to be crying for the Dodgers, especially not us, especially not the Padres. Winners find solutions. Losers make excuses. Got to find a solution. And hopefully they don't find one.
What was interesting last night is the Dodgers led. They took the early lead. That's the script. Score off Michael King, the ace, who pitched so well against Atlanta. They did somehow on that crazy Mookie Betts home run that nearly was robbed again by Darron Trip. And the Padres immediately responded. Remember Atlanta game 2. Atlanta broke the script. They scored first. They had the 1-0 lead. The Padres responded immediately, which goes to my point right now, which is even if LA scores first, Padres aren't phased. They've had it happen twice to them in the postseason already, have the opponent score first, and they bounce back to win those games. So, of course, you want to score first. Like Faren said, hey, I feel good about the team that scores first winning the game. I think if the Dodgers score a run early, that doesn't really take away much of a percentage chance of the Padres still ultimately winning the game based on what we saw yesterday and based on what we saw in game 2 against Atlanta as well.
It's because they've been in every situation. They're not phased by anything. They've been trailing early in games. They've trailed late in games. They've trailed by 5 runs or more, and they've gone to extra innings. Like they've been in every situation, blown leads, blown saves, everything. They have been through it all. They are not phased by going down 1-0 early on. Just like the Mets right here were not phased by going down 1-0 to the Phillies. They came back, and they are now leading 4-1 into a grand slam by Lindor. Honestly, I don't know how the Mets haven't put up more runs on the board because this game,
you're right.
They've had bases loaded twice. They've had another inning where they had two on and no out. They never scored in 3 of those innings. But still, it's the mindset of, look, dude, if we're down, who cares? We're going to come back. We're going to find a way. And we're never going to lose faith or hope that we're going to pull it out in the end and come away with the W.
It's amazing. I give Mike Still a lot of credit, and I give the players a lot of credit and credit. I give Manny Machado a lot of the credit, even though Ken Rosenthal isn't giving him any of it, nor are a lot of national media members. It's a bit surprising if you remember where they were in 2023, what was written about them in September and October of 2023, to see this group come together and put everything before themselves individually, put the team in front of themselves individually, to play the solely win games, and that's just what it feels like right now. It won't be denied, and winners find solutions. That Mike Schill line that you've heard so much throughout the course of 2024. Can they ride that to another win tonight? Worry about the rest later. Can you get one more winner find solutions kinds of nights against a team that truthfully, you've had the number against this year. Padres have played the Dodgers really well, whether it's regular season or postseason. Can they do it one more time to keep this thing rolling into October, into the middle of the month?
Because the mission is not just winning one more game. The mission is winning 9 more games.
But tonight it's once.
Tonight it's one. Let's go. Let's go, Padres.
Go Pods.
Go
Have
Pods.
fun.
Let's
Enjoy.
Go. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Let's go.
Bring home a W. Let's go. Yes. 9-1 Padres win. All right.
Oh, no, he said 9 more games.
Oh, 9 more games. Yes. 9 more games. That's the rally. That is it. 9 more wins. You're not winning that game. Yeah, of course, but the goal is much bigger. The mission is much bigger. And if they beat the Dodgers tonight or Friday to move on to the NLCS, its job's still not finished.
Job's not finished. Jim, how jealous are you of everyone going into the ball? I mean, I am as well. I got a 5-year-old at home. The only thing you have at home is, well, your wife.
My wife and my dog. Yeah.
Right, that too. I mean, those are factors.
Right.
Those are factors.
Yeah, those are factors,
So are you still looking at tickets?
I still am.
Inside an hour got risky last night.
$266. That's what it is. 1 ticket for a seat.
Well, yeah, one ticket.
Jim lives
for a seat,
dangerously.
Right. I do. But I purchased them I'm on other sites now. I'm on like SeatGeek.
You're on he's on Reddit
SeatGeek,
threads.
Yeah, SeatGeek is the way to go.
Random places of the
Well,
internet.
now they have dropped below 200 for Gallagher Square.
Oh, is that right?
266 right now
for a seat. Now, would Aaron come along tonight, or would you go solo?
No,
solo project.
Hey, by the way, babe, I'm going to the game.
What? Wait, what?
She wants to go to bed. There's like the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder. The devil's like, do it, be a man.
Make Aaron mad, be a man.
No, I would buy tickets for a You would just need to know like in the next 5 minutes.
Spend $600 to be a man.
That's the devil part, and then the angel part's like, well, you've watched every game so far at home, and they've done well. So if you go and they lose, it's all your fault.
Well, look at it this way: $600 is only $2 a day for a year. Even less. Even less than that. It's like $1.90 a day you're only paying $1 per day to go per ticket. $1. It's like
$1 a day keeps the angry wife away.
All right, Jim will be looking at ticket prices during the break. We're getting ready for tonight, 6 p.m. Darron Trip 7 will join us at 5:30. We're at the Naughty Barrel. Everyone's making their way inside Petco Park for this critical Game 4, other than us. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us, guys.
gonna be a magic night at Petco. We break down the game live from Naughty Barrel with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the Inflation Vacation. Listen for the nationwide keyword at the top of every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Then enter it at sportssd.com. Darron Trip will join us at 5:30. We have had so many people come by and support the show and say hello and say they listen to Jon and Jim, or they watch Jon and Jim, or they listen to the wrap-up show, or they watch the wrap-up show. Hopefully the good vibes continue tonight inside Petco Park, where Game 4 is going to get underway in about 45 minutes. Padres, Dodgers. Padres trying to close out Los Angeles here tonight.
Yeah, what exactly 45 minutes away from first pitch.
45 minutes.
I think that's right. Yeah.
No,
Give or
it's
take.
50 minutes, but yeah.
Give or take a couple minutes there. It's, I think, more electric, the vibe today than it was yesterday. And tell me if you agree with me. I haven't seen as many Dodger fans as I saw yesterday.
Nowhere near as many.
I saw way more Dodger fans yesterday than I have today.
I'd say outside yesterday, I probably saw in the neighborhood of 50. And today,
what's up, man? How we doing?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Urinal guy.
Urinal
yes.
guy.
Urinal guy. Yeah.
Appreciate
love
you,
it.
man.
Love it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it.
Support.
Oh,
it wasn't at the urinal, but it was in the bathroom.
He did it. He did him dirty. The urinal guy. Yes.
Urinal guy.
Urinal guy.
So
this
good.
is the wrap-up show.
Bathroom guy.
Bathroom guy.
Bathroom guy.
But then you called him out and you said, I just met someone at the urinal. I don't know who that was.
Urinal, bathroom. I mean, you've been in the Naughty Barrel bathroom. It's kind of tight quarters. We're talking
a little bit,
by a urinal.
Yes,
we're talking between the urinal and the sink.
Correct.
It's kind of at the urinal.
I
mean, it was in the vicinity. What are we talking about?
I don't know. The game tonight.
Oh, yeah, that game tonight.
Oh, yeah, that game tonight.
Is Darnay in the building?
Yeah, he's in the building. I saw that he got cupcakes from somebody. I just saw him holding a cupcake saying thanks to somebody. I'm like, bro, you're getting cupcakes now? What's going on?
This is okay. So Darnay is in the building. He's a friend of the show.
How come we never get
a really
cupcakes?
Good podcast. What's that?
How come we never get cupcakes?
We occasionally get cupcakes.
Oh, you know who's at the game tonight also? Brian Dutcher.
Oh, he was at the game last night.
He's also at the game tonight. Must be nice.
Wait, you got all the info. You got all the inside info.
Our Darnay Trip said just moments ago, I saw a fan completely decked out in Padres gear and thought they looked familiar. It was Brian Dutcher, who I'm not used to seeing in any other colors but black and red.
Very cool.
I saw Drew Brees was at the game last night. Tom DeLonge was at the game last night. Couple SNL comedians were at the game last night.
Were you at the game last night? Everyone was there but us.
You know what? Here's the deal. I'll do the same thing I did
if it results in a win, dude.
For the Aztecs in 2022.
Just stay on the sidelines.
Which is, I'll take one for the team.
All right, they're going to win at a high level.
Did I want to go and have the craziest travel day in my entire life to go to the Final Four? Yes, I did. But I know if I went,
they would have lost.
They would have lost.
That
the game.
Butler shot rims out.
That Butler shot is an air ball.
That rims out, dude.
I know that if I drop money on tickets at this very moment, which is I could do it. That's the kiss of death. It's the good job, Jim. You just ruined the season.
No doubt.
Oh, picture time.
Picture
What's up?
time.
How we doing? Live on radio, baby.
Live on radio.
Love it.
Thank you guys.
Love
go
it.
Padres.
Go Padres.
Thank you.
Love it. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the game.
Let them go in. You stay outside.
Yeah, I'll stay outside.
I would.
What's up, man? How we doing?
Can you imagine your tweet of like, I'm inside Petco Park, and then they go down 4-0 and everyone blames you? That's the thing. You'd be accountable if they went down, 3 or 4-0 here tonight. So we're going to stay outside the ballpark, I think. And, of course, we'll have a wrap-up show for you here tonight. And we tried to get Darron Trip actually on the wrap-up show last night on YouTube. He wouldn't join us for some soft reason. He's like, I have to work or something. I'm like, your newscast is in 2 hours.
Like, dude, you can join us for
Nobody's
5 minutes.
watching.
Hope he's not listening right now.
I'm saying, like, come on.
He's like, yeah, I'm not joining you guys.
You got time.
I'm not joining you guys anymore. All right.
By the way, Phillies are threatening.
Yeah, runners on first and third, 2 outs now.
Tying right at the plate.
Who's up?
Who's up?
Oh, is that Schwarber? Kyle Schwarber.
I
It
was
is.
like, put him on. No, you can't do. Trey Turner on deck.
0 for 9, 7 strikeouts in
Wow.
his career versus
Is it
Diaz. Yeah. So, of course, he's going to hit a 3-0 homer here.
Oh,
to tie
we'll
the
hit
game.
500 feet.
Yeah,
so
he will.
2 outs, tying run at the plate at Citi Field.
I kind of want this to turn into a Phillies win because what's up, man?
What is going on? There
I
we
want
go.
them to get taxed,
Listen
bro.
to this guy.
I want them to get taxed, bro.
Come on, Jim. I deal with this every day.
I'm scared of the Mets. I'm sorry. So it's runners now at second and third. Those are inconsequential.
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You can't put him on.
Who's up after?
Trey Turner is 0 for 4
dude.
today. You can't put him on, but you got to be careful.
1-1's the count. I mean, this is. I would not put him on. No, I'm not putting him on.
No, you can't. But
By the way,
go ahead, run the play.
update in Ticketgate.
Yeah.
So right now,
That's because you can't buy tickets now because now we're inside like 30 minutes.
no, we're not. 6:08 first pitch.
You're getting close, though.
All right,
This is the issue yesterday.
StubHub, Gallagher Square, $228 to get in. Lowest ticket price for an actual seat right now on SeatGeek is $289.
Okay.
So $289 on SeatGeek. StubHub, we got $299 for a seat.
All right. So if you and Aaron want to go, 289 times 2 is 578.
Again, I'm taking one for the team here. I'm
Yeah,
taking one for the team.
We're going to watch this thing.
And we will be on the wrap-up show later tonight after the final pitch of the game.
And hopefully it's a good final pitch.
Hopefully it's the best one, and they're celebrating.
1-2 on Kyle Schwarber with 2 outs in the top of the
Wow.
9th inning, and that is the Mets will be either here or in Los Angeles.
Unbelievable.
For the National League Championship Series games 1 and 2. So they are moving on. And you said weeks ago that this is a dangerous team, just like the Padres, a dangerous team, a wild card team that is advancing to the National League Championship Series. They've dispatched the top seed in the NL. No, not the top seed.
Number 2 seed.
Number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Phillies.
You know, they scare the hell out of me. They really do. I going into the postseason said they're the team that I don't want to face. I'm glad that they got the 6 seed and not the 5 seed going in. And if you've seen how they've played against the Padres this year, they have played really well. Really well. Lindor's scary as hell at the leadoff spot now. Pete Alonso has got the little monkey off the back. He's had and then Vientos, their third baseman, has had probably the second best postseason behind Fernando Tatis Jr. in the playoffs right now from anybody.
He's been amazing.
So, yeah, dude, they're a scary, scary, scary team. But bright side is Padres game 1 will be at Petco Park on Sunday. If the Padres don't win tonight and the Padres win Friday, game 1 still would be here at Petco Park on Sunday, which is which I would take any day of the week.
3 words for you, which is kind of 4 words. Job, which is not it. Job, not finished. Finished. If the Padres can win the series and get to an NLCS themselves.
You know why the Mets did scare me? And they do scare me now?
Wow.
Is because format of the NLCS, the 2-3-2 format.
Right. So if you get a split, you got 3 games on the road.
That's
20 minutes. 100%. All right, Darron Trip inside Petco Park? Question mark? We think he's inside Petco Park. Yeah. He's going to join us. Coming up next, we're at the Naughty Barrel until 6 p.m. Getting you ready for Game 4, Padres Dodgers here on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. Padres-Dodgers game 4 tonight at Petco Park. We're a little over a half hour away from first pitch. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. It's a bullpen day for the Dodgers. If the Padres win tonight, they will host game 1 of the NLCS Sunday because the Mets just beat the Phillies. They are advancing to the NLCS. So the Padres beat the Dodgers either tonight or on Friday night. Game 1 would be here at Petco Park. Other scores around baseball today. The Guardians, they lost to the Tigers. They got shut out 3-0. Tigers have a 2-1 series lead there, and the Yankees lead the Royals 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning with that series tied at 1 game apiece. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Today, we're live from Naughty Barrel, 844 Market Street, with the faithful looking forward to the NLDS. Now, from the shadow of Petco, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, back with you here from the Naughty Barrel. We are 30 minutes out. San Diego, Los Angeles, game 4 inside Petco Park with the sun setting. The Padres trying to end this like they did in 2022. We do have friend of the show. We like to call him that. Darron Trip, NBC7, back with us.
Our their producer.
Right now on Jon and Jim. And Darron, correct me if I'm wrong. You're inside Petco Park right now, right?
I am inside Petco Park. That's right.
Okay, so describe for us and for our listeners what the scene is like as these two teams get ready for Game 4 here tonight. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, it's pretty festive. People have poured into this place, especially in the last hour or so. It started to really fill up, and it felt like people are really like locked in, ready for player intros and first pitch yesterday against the Dodgers. And the Braves, people are excited, happy to be there. They started to fill in once they heard the PA announcer. I think fans are like fully locked in tonight, and a little extra excitement knowing what's on the line, the celebration that could be ahead, and the opportunity in front of the Padres.
What's your thoughts on Dylan Cease going on 3 days rest here? You feel comfortable with it? We talked to Mike Faren earlier in the show, MLB Network Radio. He didn't like the move. I like the move. What do you think of the move?
Yeah, I think it's fine. And look, you've got the full complement of guys behind him. Certainly Brian Hoeing. You think Martin Perez if necessary. And so it's not like Dylan Cease is out there on an island and he has to get them 6-7 innings. If he does that, that's incredible and a great sign for the Padres. Mike Schultz mentioned the fact that he had basically about a week and a half between his last start of the regular season against the Dodgers and his first start of the postseason last week over the weekend against the Dodgers. And so he basically missed a start there. And so he has rest, even though he is pitching on short rest. And Cease is a competitive guy. Like we saw that in the no-hitter when Schultz tried to pull him. He wanted to stay with it. We saw it early in the season. There was a start where I think Schultz wanted to come get him, and he kind of held his hand up and said, okay, let me get through this. And so I think you have a guy that likes to be tested, that wants to take on a challenge. Schultz said that they approached Dylan with the idea, and he said, I want to do it. Let's go. And so I think that's the mentality you want in a guy like that. And he obviously had the stuff. He does have some rest over the last couple of weeks, but I don't think it's the worst idea.
Darron Trip, NBC7 with us right now on Jon and Jim as the Padres get set for the Dodgers game 4 of this NLDS. What do you think the impact here is of Freddie Freeman being out? He clearly has not been 100% in this series.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly a presence, obviously, not only what he does for you offensively, defensively. I would imagine kind of the emotional element will still be there as kind of one of the leaders of the team. What it does just in terms of matchups, obviously, once you get late in games and that sort of thing, what impact does it have there having such a talented left-handed bat? And just, again, the presence after Ohtani and Betts. I mean, when you talk about the Dodgers, obviously Ohtani is, the head of the spear, so to speak, but it's dealing with Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman hasn't been himself, but he's still certainly threatening when he's at the plate. And so, look, I mean, the Dodgers, as we've seen, the lineup doesn't stop with those three, so it's still going to be a challenge getting through them. and you still have to deal with Ohtani and Betts, whose bat seems to have woken up a little bit. So still a huge challenge even without Freeman.
When you look at tonight from the Dodgers' perspective, they're going bullpen game. You're going to see Trinan. You're going to see Kopech. You're going to see Vesia. You're going to see Hudson. It's the others, I think, that the Padres have to do damage off of because you can't count on getting damage off of those four guys. How crucial is it, in your opinion? I mean, you got to score early off of not the top-end relievers for the Dodgers.
Well, to score early and to keep it going, too, because with the exception of Sunday's game, they've scored early and then gone kind of quiet. And
right.
There's been numerous instances, game 2 against the Braves, and then last night where all of a sudden it's too close for comfort. And fortunately, the bullpen is as good as it is, and it's gotten them out of those situations. And look, the history with the Padres is sometimes it's not necessarily the ace that gives them trouble. Sometimes it's a bullpen arm. Sometimes it's a guy that you've never heard of. And so it's going to be a different type of situation. The Padres have been really good about keeping the next guy in line informed of what to look out for. And that's going to be a little bit more challenging when the arm is constantly changing one situation, one inning to the next. And so while on paper it does benefit the Padres, I would think we've seen situations where they've struggled in spots like this. And I think the most important thing is just keep adding on. Don't take your foot on the gas, especially if you get those early runs.
Is there anything the Dodgers can do with Tatis? We talked about the Padres and what they can do with Ohtani. Are there separate rules? As deep as the Padres lineup is there anything that changes tonight with the Dodgers in their approach to Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Well, as we saw against the Nats this season, if you walk somebody to get to Jurickson Profar, Jurickson Profar might make you pay.
Right.
And so that's obviously the situation that they're in. You've got a competitive quality hitter, an all-star this year in Jurickson Profar that loves the big moment. And then you have Manny Machado back behind him. Then you have Jackson Merrill behind him. And so, it's a similar situation to Ohtani. A lot of people say, well, why don't you just walk Ohtani? Well, you do have to deal with Betts and Freeman after that. So it's easier said than done. But Tatis has been incredible and has done enough to at least make it kind of a thought or a question in the mind of Dave Roberts and the Dodgers staff, because he is sensational. He's a really tough out. He's a really dangerous bat right now. And so how they navigate that will be interesting, but it's not like there's a huge drop-off in the order once you get past Tatis.
All right, two-part question, Darnay. One, who gave you that cupcake? And two, who's thrown out the first pitch tonight? Do you know?
I don't know who's throwing out the first pitch. That's a good question. How about Jorge Alfaro? That was incredible last night. I love it.
Yeah.
And that is I believe a Fat Bottom Girls cupcake that the great Bobby Cressy, who tickles the ivories at Petco Park on the Oregon. Everybody loves listening
Bobby.
to him at games. So he hooked it up today. So
must be
much
nice.
appreciated.
So what's your schedule here for tonight? You're on the news later on, or how long are you at Petco Park, or what's your plan?
This is John asking
are
you
you going to join the wrap-up show, or what's your deal?
No, I can't do the wrap-up show tonight because we've got a competing podcast that we need to do. Although you guys can come on the On Prior podcast if you want.
No chance. We would never support that.
You're
it's
more
all
than
about us. We
welcome.
don't care about anybody else.
No, Jim was just on that.
I have to be on TV in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then I have to be on TV in about 70 minutes. And then I'm heading back to the station to get ready for NBC 7 News at 11. So they're busy days, but they're fun days.
Darnay, enjoy it.
Soft.
You can watch his coverage. Wow, Jim says you're soft. You can watch it all on NBC 7. Appreciate you hopping on. Great job. On Friar Podcast tonight. Darnay Trip, NBC 7.
Yeah.
Thanks, Darnay. We'll do it again, all right?
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it.
All right. Enjoy it. Darnay inside Petco Park where me and Jim are not.
He has to work.
Come on, man.
Working.
Come on. Can't do the wrap-up show?
No. It's
Gross.
about the wrap-up show. There's only one thing that's happening after the game, which is hopefully a Padres celebration in the wrap-up show.
And we appreciate you supporting John and Jim in the wrap-up show, but if you want us to do something for you, that'll never happen.
Nope.
On the other side, we will get to Jim's back page. We've got the last news and notes as we get ready for Game 4, Padres-Dodgers. If the Padres win, they're in the National League Championship Series. We're here until 6 p.m. to Donnie Barrows, John and Jim.
gonna be a magic night at Petco. We break down the game live from Naughty Barrel with Jon and Jim.
All right, make sure to catch the Sean Lewis Coaches Show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Rich and I will sit down with the Aztecs head coach to discuss the Mountain West Conference opener against Hawaii this past Saturday and preview this week's matchup against the University of Wyoming in Laramie. The Sean Lewis Show every Thursday at 6 on your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Looking forward to catching up with Sean Lewis. He's been tweeting about the Padres over the course of this postseason run. He was wearing a Padres cap, a military-themed camo cap after the Aztecs win on Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. And again, the Sean Lewis Show is tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're downtown. Sun is setting. It's game 4. Most fans are in. We've got a lot of people still at Naughty Barrel that might just be hanging out for the game. Yeah. So if you want to come down for the game, get here to 9th and Market. It is a great spot. We've been here all season long, including each of the last 2 days, and Padres-Dodgers is about 20 minutes out.
So during my whole ticket fiasco last night, me and Aaron did stay at the Naughty Barrel for about the first 3 innings. And it's a weird experience watching downtown because the TVs are all behind. And Petco is so loud that when something happens in that ballpark and you can hear the crowd roar on the TV, it hasn't happened yet. So you're kind of sitting there and you're like, oh, something good happened. What happened? And then you finally see it on TV maybe like 20 seconds later, and then you erupt. So it's a weird, for me, maybe not my cup of tea. I don't want to know what's happening before it happens and that far in advance.
Yeah.
But after the game, that's when it gets crazy here at the Naughty Barrel downtown. And if they win tonight on clinch night, it's gonna be even more.
It's gonna be incredible.
We know how it was in 2022. But that was just after, I think, a Game 2 win in the NLCS to tie the series 1-1.
But, you were down here for Game 4 against the Dodgers in the rain.
I was here. Duh.
Yeah.
I was in the ballpark. You're right, because I did get credentialed that time. Interesting how that works. I got credentialed that time to go to that game. For some reason, I don't know. But, that was nuts. But I raced home because we did a wrap-up show that night.
Yes.
So I didn't stay fully for everything. You're like, get your ass home. We got to start our show.
Well, yes. It's still to this day the most watched wrap-up show ever. Game 4, Padres-Dodgers 2022.
Hopefully that gets eclipsed tonight. I'm hoping tonight is the night where that gets eclipsed with another Game 4 win here at Petco Park for the Dodgers to advance to the National League Championship Series, where once again they would have home field. And once again, they would take on a team from the NL East.
But before we get to that, winning here tonight or win on Friday, Dylan Cease, I like we said earlier, Mike showed as well. This is not an opening situation for Cease. He's not an opener. Yes, he's on 3 days rest. He's fully capable of working deep into this game. You got to imagine Cease has his first start against the Dodgers on his mind. 3 1/3 innings, 5 runs.
Not good.
Was not to his expectations.
Yeah.
He's got to be better here tonight. There's no question about it. He's fully capable of being better here tonight. And then if he's good, you just rely on this offense to at some point break through like they always do. And then hopefully the Padres will have enough tonight in Game 4.
A couple keys to the game. You can't have too many keys. Number one, you got to make sure the bottom half of the Dodgers lineup does not get going. Game 1, they had a really good game against Dylan Cease. They won, I think, a collective 5 for 12. Bottom of the lineup. Put Ohtani in situations where he was able to come through with runners on, have to pull the bottom of the lineup, especially Kike Hernandez, who has good lifetime numbers off Dylan Cease. I think the Padres have to score early off of front relievers for the Dodgers. You do not want to get to a situation where you're facing their top relievers trailing late in the game. It's not been good against the bullpen of the Dodgers, especially their high-end guys. And then score early. I already said that. And you also have to still keep Ohtani down. Can't let him have a breakthrough game.
Yeah, we have forgotten. It's a good point. Like, we've forgotten a little bit. Think about 3 hours today. We haven't spent a lot of time on Ohtani. It's come up for 3 hours. But here's a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado and others that's fully capable of just completely throwing the game on its side. Right? The home run, double, 3-hit game from Ohtani where he drives in 4, which he's done throughout September and also did in Game 1 against the Padres. We can't put that outside the realm of possibility. Now, leading off the game against Phillies, Tatis got to get him out. Like, it's simple as that. But there could be a circumstance that presents itself where you have to be overly cautious against Shohei Ohtani with an eye towards winning the game and not winning the at-bat against Shohei in that spot.
To me, the Ohtani rules still apply. If there's a runner in scoring position and 2 outs and a base open, he's getting that free base. Like, that's just, to me, especially late in the game, I'm not even dealing with it. I don't know if Ohtani's been up in the last 2 games with runners in scoring position. Has he?
Has he been up with
Because I know
scoring position 2 outs other than the 3-run home run?
No. Other than the 3-run homer, in the last 2 games, has he been up with runners in scoring position? I feel like I would have known because the broadcast, the Dodger broadcast, would have put up the crazy numbers. They have all these numbers ready to go for Ohtani.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Okay. Yeah, because the bottom of the lineup has been in check the last 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key. You got to, if the bottom of the lineup is going to have a good night, that's where you're going to run into problems because the decision will be then, do you face Ohtani or do you not face Ohtani? Because there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
yes. F Ohtani. There you go.
Or don't like Ohtani.
I don't like Ohtani.
Don't like
Curse
Ohtani.
word Ohtani.
The Dodgers lineup changed because Freddie Freeman's out. And you're right. The bottom of the lineup looks different. I mean, they've been so consistently throwing out there Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and Hernandez.
Yeah.
And now they aren't. And you got Max Muncy, who's a capable hitter. You have Kike Hernandez, who's capable. Chris Taylor's come through in the clutch before. It's just different. I mean, Freddie Freeman's won an MVP. He's a guy that falls out of bed with like a 300 average and 200 hits in the season when he's healthy, and he's out because of his ankle. What impact does it have in one game? We'll find out tonight.
You know who's had, from a Padres standpoint, I don't want to continue talking about the Dodgers. Jurickson Profar, I know he's been in the middle of a lot of stuff. Offensively, at the plate, kind of in a little quiet series. He hasn't had that, like, big-time moment yet, right? I mean, he's been in moments. He's been in the middle of stuff, but he's not had that, like, big hit, 3-run homer, 2-run homer type of game yet.
By the way, ringing the bell in front of tonight's game at Petco, Vikings head coach, Aztec for life quarterback Kevin O'Connell ringing the bell ahead of Game 4 at Petco Park. All right, join us post-game for the wrap-up show. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. Great job by Mike Usher here with us. Brent Sperry in the studio. For Jim, I'm John. Go Padres. Wrap-up show tonight. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Go Pods.
Game 4, folks.